Chapter 2366. Killing 9 End Realm Experts from the Evil Path. Such an achievement was enough to make one's jaw drop. Although Xiao Chen was heavily injured and had no fighting ability, because Xiao Chen killed 9 people in a row, the situation was slowly tilting towards the sword sect. Killing 9 End Realm Experts from the Evil Path. Such an achievement was definitely enough to make one's jaw drop. Although Xiao Chen was heavily injured and had no fighting ability, because Xiao Chen killed 9 people in a row, the situation was slowly tilting towards the sword sect. Originally, the Evil Path had more End Realm Experts than the Sword Sect, and this was specially arranged by Qi Mei to defend Mausoleum City. Unfortunately, after the 9 End Realm Experts were killed by Xiao Chen, the number of End Realm Experts on both sides had completely flipped. Now, it was the Sword Sect's turn to have more End Realm Experts than the Evil Path. With that, the chances of the Sword Sect taking down Mausoleum City had increased by a lot. Forcefully supporting his body, with Xianyuan Ling's help, Xiao Chen's gaze slowly swept across the battlefield. Now, the situation was slowly tilting towards the Sword Sect, and the disciples of the Sword Sect were starting to suppress the Evil Path. He didn't continue to attack, or rather, Xiao Chen didn't have any strength left. The spiritual energy in his body was close to dry, and there were waves of intense pain coming from all parts of his body. In such a state, he couldn't continue to fight. After swallowing a healing pill, Xiao Chen only needed to wait for the battle to end. After killing 9 End Realm Experts, Xiao Chen's mission was completed. What Xiao Chen needed to do now was to patiently wait for the battle to end. Xianyuan Ling was in charge of taking care of Xiao Chen. At the same time, in the sky, Qi Mei, Luo Xing, and the others who were in an intense battle also noticed the changes below. After seeing Xiao Chen kill 9 End Realm evil warriors in a row, Qi Mei's face turned gloomy. 9 End Realm Experts, this wasn't some random trash. Although the evil faction had many End Realm Experts, they couldn't handle such losses. In just one battle, 9 End Realm Experts had died at Xiao Chen's hands. Such a price made even Qi Mei feel pained. However, this wasn't the most important thing. After losing 9 End Realm Experts, could Mausoleum City still defend? Qi Mei's complexion turned ugly. She was fully prepared for the Battle of Mausoleum City, but who would have thought that the situation would turn out like this? It could be said that the reason for this battle was entirely because of Xiao Chen. Qi Mei had underestimated Xiao Chen and didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so strong. If not, without Xiao Chen, the Sword Sect definitely wouldn't have been able to take down Mausoleum City. They might have even paid a heavy price here. However, because Xiao Chen had killed 9 of their End Realm Experts, the situation had changed. After losing 9 of their End Realm Experts, the pressure on Sword's Gate had lessened by quite a bit. Damn it! She cursed in her heart. At this moment, Qi Mei naturally couldn't remain relaxed. The importance of Mausoleum City was self-explanatory, and Qi Mei was clear about that. Once they lost this battle and lost Mausoleum City, it would be difficult to take it back. She was furious, but there was nothing she could do. This was because Luo Xing was holding her back and didn't give her any chance. As they say, some people were happy while others were sad. Compared to Qi Mei's rage, Luo Xing was much more relaxed. Luo Xing was also paying attention to the battle below. After seeing Xiao Chen kill 9 people in a row, Luo Xing's mood improved and she felt much more relaxed. Based on the current situation, Mausoleum City should be within her reach. As for herself, she just needed to hold Qi Mei back and not give her any chance to attack. With that, Mausoleum City would be in the hands of the Sword Sect. She heaved a sigh of relief. Luo Xing continued to exchange blows with Qi Mei and waited for the outcome of the battle below. They were all clear that if nothing unexpected happened, the outcome of the battle was basically set. Especially after Long Qin killed the 3 End Realm Evil Path Experts, the morale of the Sword Sect rose. They basically didn't have much strength to resist. As for the other Evil Path Experts, They were being killed by the sword sect expert. In order to quickly end the battle, Xiao Chen swallowed a healing pill. After his injuries were under control, he said to Xianyuan Ling, "Big brother, don't worry about me. Quickly end the battle in case anything happens." Xiao Chen indicated that Xianyuan Ling didn't need to stay here to take care of him. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Xianyuan Ling said worriedly, "Are you really okay? Don't worry, big brother, just go. I'm fine here." Hearing this, Xiao Chen nodded. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Xianyuan Ling didn't say anything else. He first brought Xiao Chen to the back of the battlefield, a safe place. Then, Xianyuan Ling joined the battle once more. With the addition of Xianyuan Ling and Long Qing, the evil path situation became even worse. Although Xianyuan Ling and Long Qing's combat strength wasn't as abnormal as Xiao Chen's, after breaking through to the End Realm, their strength had already surpassed the various deputy sect leaders of the Sword Sect. After all, Long Qing and Xianyuan Ling were both geniuses and monsters. Their combat strength was also extremely strong. As such, under their leadership, the evil path experts found it harder and harder to resist. The Sword Sect also continued to push towards Mausoleum City. The evil path experts found it harder and harder to resist, and they became weaker and weaker. Not long later, many disciples of the Sword Sect charged into Mausoleum City. Although there were still some evil path experts stubbornly resisting in Mausoleum City, such resistance was no longer a threat to the Sword Sect. They gradually occupied Mausoleum City, and the final outcome was set. In the Battle of Mausoleum City with Xiao Chen's strength, the Sword Sect successfully won and took over Mausoleum City. Although Qi Mei was unwilling to accept this result, there was nothing she could do. She wanted to stop Luo Xing, but Luo Xing didn't give her the chance. Seeing that Mausoleum City had successfully fallen into the hands of the Sword Sect, Qi Mei also knew that there was no point in continuing to fight. If she continued to be entangled here, Qi Mei would be in danger. Who knew when the other sovereigns of the Great Thousand World would appear? Moreover, there were so many experts of the Sword Sect here. If she was surrounded, even Qi Mei would find it difficult to escape. Qi Mei looked deeply at Xiao Chen below, and a cold light flashed in her eyes. She said coldly, "Xiao Chen, I will remember you." As her voice fell, Qi Mei didn't hesitate. After clashing with Luo Xing's palm, she chose to retreat. Luo Xing didn't have much intention to stop her. After all, if Qi Mei wanted to leave, Luo Xing couldn't stop her. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2367. Qi Mei chose to leave. Mausoleum City had already been taken down by the Sword Sect, so there was no point in staying. Luo Xing didn't stop her either. Qi Mei chose to leave. Mausoleum City had already been taken down by the Sword Sect, so there was no point in staying. Luo Xing didn't stop her either. Along with Qi Mei leaving, the middle-aged man did the same. The evil path cultivators in Mausoleum City also received Qi Mei's orders to give up on resisting and retreat out of the city. The evil path side totally gave up on Mausoleum City and didn't resist anymore. Just like that, Mausoleum City fell into the hands of the Sword Sect. Outside the city gates, Xiao Chen slowly walked in with the help of Gu Lingyao, Tianyu, and Hongxiu. Although his injuries had stabilized, Xiao Chen was still extremely weak. However, at this time, Xiao Chen was a little worried about Gu Lingyao and the others. The three of them were all injured in this battle. Seeing that they were all injured, Xiao Chen's heart ached as he asked, "How are you okay? What can happen to us? They are all superficial wounds." Hearing this, Tianyu said expressionlessly, "That's right, we aren't like some people who can kill 9 End Realm experts by themselves." When she heard Tianyu's words, Gu Lingyao smiled and said, "The 3 women were indeed fine. Although they were injured, it wasn't serious. They were only superficial wounds." Hearing this, Xiao Chen relaxed. However, seeing the blood at the corners of their mouths, Xiao Qin couldn't help but feel heartache. According to Xiao Qin, the three of them didn't need to do this. However, this time, Gu Lingyao and the others had to stay by Xiao Qin's side no matter what. Even Qin Shuru and Gu Lingyao would probably do the same if it wasn't for Xiao Yao and Xiao Lao. After entering the city, Xiao Qin left the rest of the matters to Long Qing, Xianyuan Ling, and the other deputy sect leaders. He began to recuperate in seclusion under the care of Gu Lingyao and the other two ladies. In the end, the sword sect won the battle. However, they paid a huge price. The number of disciples who died wasn't small. Even Xiao Qin was heavily injured. However, the final result was enough to make many people excited. As the sword sect successfully took down Mausoleum City, the news quickly spread throughout the Great Thousand World. Luo Xing and the old man stayed in Mausoleum City. On the other side, Jun Wuya and the other sovereigns also knew the result of the battle in Mausoleum City. After confirming that the sword sect had won the battle and successfully took down Mausoleum City, the sovereigns were overjoyed. The importance of Mausoleum City was self-evident. Now that the sword sect had successfully taken down Mausoleum City, it would have a significant impact on the subsequent battle. Yun Tianyi's attack didn't seem to be going very well, right? After rejoicing, the sovereigns gathered together to discuss the next deployment. At this time, Dao Xiong took the lead to speak. Yun Tianyi led Mu Tian Mountain to attack Hetian Prefecture. However, unlike the sword sect, Yun Tianyi's attack didn't go well. He even suffered a lot at the hands of the evil path cultivators. Hearing Dao Xiong's words, the patriarch of Mu Tian Mountain, Yun Chen's expression turned ugly, but he still nodded and said, "Indeed, it didn't go very well." This was the truth, and Yun Chen had nothing to say. Seeing this, Dao Xiong continued, "Send Yun Tianyi and the others to Mausoleum City. Mausoleum City is very important, and we can't afford to lose it. I'm worried that the evil path will counterattack." Since they had already taken down Mausoleum City, the next step was to defend it. As such, Dao Xiong proposed to send many experts from Mu Tian Mountain to Mausoleum City to assist the sword sect in their defense. The other sovereigns nodded in agreement with Dao Xiong's proposal without much hesitation. Even Yun Chen didn't have much objection. After all, what Dao Xiong said made sense. His tone suggested that Yun Tianyi and the others continue to be entangled with the evil path, and progress would be slow. It was better to send them to Mausoleum City to assist the sword sect. The matter was quickly settled, and Yun Chen personally sent a message to Yun Tianyi in front of all the sovereigns, asking him to bring people to Mausoleum City to assist the sword sect in defending against the evil path's counterattack. The Great Thousand World side quickly responded. Within the evil god palace, Qi Mei, who had suffered a defeat, was in an extremely bad mood. "You killed 9 of my End Realm experts. Xiao Qin, you're asking for death," Qi Mei said coldly as she sat alone in the palace. In Qi Mei's eyes, the reason why the evil path lost in the Battle of Mausoleum City was because of Xiao Qin. If not for Xiao Qin killing 9 of her End Realm experts, it would have been impossible for the sword sect to take down Mausoleum City. Now, not only did they suffer heavy losses, they even lost Mausoleum City. Qi Mei couldn't imagine how much face she would lose in front of the other evil sovereigns after losing Mausoleum City. Qi Mei was furious. On the other side, within the evil god palace, where the evil spirits stayed, the evil spirits were sitting cross-legged on mats with their eyes closed as usual. At this moment, Yang Chen quickly walked in front of the evil spirits and called out softly, "Xiezi." Ever since he was defeated by the evil spirits in 2 moves, Yang Chen had been following beside the evil spirits. After a period of time, Yang Chen was completely conquered by the evil spirit. He listened to everything the evil spirits said and worshipped them. He called out to the evil spirits softly. Hearing Yang Chen's call, the evil spirits slowly opened their eyes. Seeing this, Yang Chen also said softly, "Xiezi, the results of the Battle of Mausoleum City are out." What do you think? The phantasm asked with a hint of interest in his eyes. Facing the evil spirit's question, Yang Chen naturally wouldn't hide anything and immediately told Xie Zi everything he knew. Mausoleum City was lost to the Sword Sect. Our evil path also suffered heavy losses because the Sword Sect's sect leader, Xiao Qin, killed 9 of our End Realm experts. The Sword Sect successfully took down Mausoleum City and caused the evil path to suffer heavy losses. The reason was because Xiao Qin killed 9 End Realm experts. Hearing Yang Chen's words, the evil spirits didn't show any signs of anger. It was as though the loss of Mausoleum City had nothing to do with them. However, the evil spirits were interested in Xiao Qin. With a faint smile, the evil spirits chuckled. Killing 9 End Realm experts in a row. Interesting. After muttering to himself, he turned to look at Yang Chen, seemingly asking for his opinion. Do you think I should personally make a trip to Mausoleum City? I am very interested in Xiao Qin. To be able to kill 9 End Realm experts in a row, he should have some strength. Hearing the evil spirit's words, Yang Chen was stunned. To be honest, Yang Chen wasn't convinced by Xiao Qin. However, he had to admit that Xiao Qin's performance in the Battle of Mausoleum City had indeed shocked him. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. End of chapter. Chapter 2368. Yang Chen knew that he wouldn't be able to kill 9 End Realm experts in a row. Although he wasn't convinced, Yang Chen had to admit that Xiao Qian's strength was indeed terrifying. Could it be that Xiao Qian's strength has already surpassed the other geniuses? Yang Chen couldn't help but think. As if seeing through Yang Chen's thoughts, the evil spirits asked softly, "Why, you can't figure it out?" "No." Hearing this, Yang Chen shook his head and said. Yang Chen naturally wasn't willing to admit that Xiao Qin was stronger than him. This was because Yang Chen had always treated Xiao Qin as his greatest opponent. Yang Chen couldn't accept that Xiao Qin's strength surpassed his. However, the evil spirits could tell that Yang Chen was forcing himself. Not to mention other things, just the fact that Xiao Qin killed 9 End Realm experts in a row wasn't something that Yang Chen could do. Therefore, although they hadn't seen Xiao Qin, the evil spirits were sure that Xiao Qian's strength was definitely above Yang Chen's. A faint smile appeared on the evil spirits' face. It was as if they were talking to themselves, but also as if they were talking to Yang Chen. There's nothing to be unconvinced about. It's a fact that he's stronger than you. Maybe you think that Xiao Qian's strength was on par with yours, but don't forget that most of the time, when you reach the true peak, only one person can pass. There are so many geniuses in the world. Maybe everyone's strength was on par before, but as time passes, there will definitely be someone who stands out and surpasses everyone else. There's no first place in literature, and there's no second place in martial arts. After saying that, the evil spirits didn't say anything else. After saying that, they closed their eyes and started to cultivate again. Get ready, I'm going to make a trip to Mausoleum City personally. The evil spirits wanted to personally head to Tomb City. Needless to say, this was naturally for Xiao Qin. Hearing this, Yang Chen felt complicated, but he still respectfully nodded. Xiao Qin had completely attracted the attention of the evil spirit. On the other side, in Mausoleum City, after taking down Mausoleum City, the members of the Sword Sect stayed in the city to rest and reorganize. At the same time, they also killed all the remaining evil warriors. Currently, Mausoleum City was completely under the control of the Sword Sect. However, Mausoleum City was indeed in a miserable state. The original residents of the city had long been killed by the evil warriors. When the Sword Sect took over Mausoleum City was like an empty city. However, Xiao Qin could only sigh inwardly. There was nothing he could do about it. Moreover, because his injuries were too severe, Xiao Qin didn't have time to care about anything else and chose to go into seclusion to cultivate. Now that he was in the Hetian prefecture, who knew when the evil warriors would attack? Xiao Chun had to quickly recover from his injuries. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good thing to be injured. If Xiao Chen's injuries weren't healed in the next battle, it would obviously be very troublesome. After handing over the matters of Mausoleum City to Long Qing, Xianyuan Ling, and the others, Xiao Chen went into seclusion to heal his injuries. A few days later, Yun Tianyi led the many experts of Mutian Mountain and finally arrived at Mausoleum City. When he received Yun Chen's message, Yun Tianyi didn't delay and immediately turned around and rushed towards Mausoleum City. Moreover, along the way, Yun Tianyi was also shocked. Xiao Chen killed 9 End-Realm evil warriors in a row, which made Yun Tianyi secretly exclaim in admiration. He was shocked by Xiao Chen's powerful strength. Yun Tianyi also knew that Xiao Chen's strength had probably surpassed his. Therefore, when he arrived at Mausoleum City, Yun Tianyi's attitude was also very low-key. Although Mutian Mountain and the Sword Sect had some conflicts previously, Mutian Mountain had always been firmly on the side of Hetian Sect. Therefore, the relationship between Mutian Mountain and the Sword Sect wasn't harmonious. It could even be said that they were enemies. However, now, because of the battle between good and evil, in addition to the strength that Xiao Chun had displayed, Yun Tianyi was very polite to the people of the Sword Sect. At this time, the side of the Great Thousand World couldn't afford any internal strife. This was also specially instructed by Yun Chen beforehand. Yun Tianyi led the experts of Mutian Mountain into Mausoleum City and worked together with the Sword Sect to guard Mausoleum City and prevent the evil path from counterattacking. After settling the people of Mutian Mountain, as the sect leader of Mutian Mountain, Yun Tianyi was naturally invited to the city lord's manor by Long Qing, Xianyuan Ling, and the others. In the hall, everyone took their seat. Yun Tianyi also asked about Xiao Chen's situation. "Brother Xianyuan, how is Brother Xiao? I heard that he killed 9 End-Realm Almighties in a row. I really admire him." "Brother Yun, you must be joking. However, the sect leader is now in seclusion. It will probably be some time before he can meet Brother Yun," Xianyuan Ling replied with a smile. Xiao Chen was in seclusion to recuperate, so he naturally couldn't meet Yun Tianyi personally. Yun Tianyi also expressed his understanding towards this. Then, Yun Tianyi and Xianyuan Ling discussed the following defensive matters. According to Xianyuan Ling, the Sword Sect hoped that Mu Tianshan would take on the job of defending Mausoleum City. This was because after this battle, there were indeed many people in the Sword Sect who were injured and urgently needed to rest for a period of time. Therefore, they could only hope that Mu Tianshan would work harder during this period of time. Yun Tianyi didn't reject this. Although Yun Tianyi didn't personally participate in the Battle of Mausoleum City, he could imagine how tragic it was. Moreover, in the Battle of Mausoleum City, the evil path was obviously stronger than the Sword Sect. If it wasn't for Xiao Chen's powerful strength that killed 9 End-Realm Almighties in a row, the Sword Sect probably wouldn't have been able to win. Since the Sword Sect had successfully taken down Mausoleum City after such a tragic battle, it was reasonable for Mu Tianshan to take on the task of defending Mausoleum City. Moreover, Yun Tianyi was also very clear about how important Mausoleum City was to the Great Thousand World. After all, Luo Xing and the old man were still in Mausoleum City. They had purposely left 2 emperors to guard Mausoleum City. From this, one could see how much importance the emperors placed on Mausoleum City. This was a nail that was nailed into the Hetian prefecture. As long as they had Mausoleum City in their hands, the Great Thousand World would have the power to attack. They would be able to attack the evil god palace from Mausoleum City. Yun Tianyi immediately agreed and gave Xianyuan Ling many healing pills. Of course, these healing pills didn't belong to Yun Tianyi and Mu Tianshan. Instead, the emperors asked Yun Tianyi to pass them to the Sword Sect. After all, after such a huge battle, the Sword Sect would definitely be lacking in healing pills. The emperors naturally had to help. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2369. Yuntian's attitude was very friendly. As a result, the disciples of the Sword Sect and Mu Tian Mountain did not have any conflicts. Moreover, under Yuntian's orders, the disciples of Mu Tian Mountain quickly took over the task of defending the city. This gave the disciples of the Sword Sect some time to rest. Yuntian's attitude was very friendly. As a result, the disciples of the Sword Sect and Mu Tian Mountain naturally did not have any conflicts. Moreover, under Yuntian's orders, the disciples of Mu Tian Mountain quickly took over the task of defending the city. This gave the disciples of the Sword Sect some time to rest. They could finally relax. At the same time, Xianyuan Ling immediately distributed the healing pills given by the sovereigns. He ensured that every disciple of the Sword Sect would receive a sufficient amount of healing pills to recover from their injuries in the shortest amount of time. The situation in Mausoleum City quickly stabilized. On Xiao Chen's side, under the care and company of Gu Lingyao and the other two girls, Xiao Chen's injuries were also quickly recovering. With sufficient healing pills, and their grades were not low, in addition to the fact that Xiao Chen's physical body was very strong, his originally serious injuries were greatly improved in just a few days. Furthermore, Xiao Chen took advantage of the time he took to heal himself to completely stabilize his cultivation base. Currently, Xiao Chen's cultivation base had already surpassed that of the other geniuses of the Great Thousand World. For example, Yuntian's cultivation was now at the Greater End Realm, but Xiao Chen's cultivation was already at the Lesser End Realm. It could be said that the other geniuses of the Great Thousand World were obviously no match for Xiao Chen. It was basically impossible for anyone to defeat Xiao Chen, who was of a higher level. Xiao Chen had never been defeated by someone of a higher level. Gu Lingyao and the other two girls breathed a sigh of relief as their injuries continued to heal. At the same time, the three girls also sent a message back to the Sword Sect, telling Qin Shuru and Flower Fairy not to worry too much as Xiao Chen was fine. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. During this time, the emperors had no intention of continuing their attack. They only ordered Xiao Chen and Yuntian to guard Mausoleum City. For this reason, Dan Qingyang had personally rushed to Mausoleum City. As a result, Mausoleum City was now guarded by 3 emperors. In the courtyard, Xiao Chen's injuries had more or less recovered. Today, Yuntian was sitting in the courtyard drinking tea and chatting. A few days ago, Xiao Chen had met Yuntian. After a few days of interaction, the two of them had become more familiar with each other. Yuntian personally poured a cup of tea for Xiao Chen and said with a smile, "Xiao Chen has become famous after this battle." The other guys are probably shocked. Hearing Yuntian's words, Xiao Chen smiled and did not say anything. Seeing this, Yuntian also withdrew his smile and said seriously, "Brother Xiao, have you heard about what happened in Leaping Tiger City?" "Leaping Tiger City?" Hearing Yuntian's words, Xiao Chen nodded and said, "Of course I have heard about such a big matter." Leaping Tiger City was now the focus of the battle between the Great Thousand World and the Evil Path. It was also a city that the emperors were eager to take down. Like Mausoleum City, Leaping Tiger City was also a city with a very strategic position. It was located on the east and west of Mausoleum City. It could be said that if they could take down Leaping Tiger City, they would be able to coordinate with Mausoleum City, which would be very helpful in the upcoming battle. It was also because Leaping Tiger City's strategic significance was not inferior to Mausoleum City that most of the forces of the Great Thousand World had gathered around Leaping Tiger City. At the same time, the Evil Path was the same. It could be said that the scale of the battle in Leaping Tiger City had far exceeded that of Mausoleum City. Saber Sect, Moon Palace, Heavenly Policy Mansion, Heavenly Een Tower, the Great Thousand Worlds, 10 Great Ling Tian sects, and dozens of other forces of various sizes had gathered in Leaping Tiger City. After gathering such a strong force, The emperor's purpose was to take down Leaping Tiger City in one fell swoop and make arrangements for the upcoming battle. Perhaps it was because of Leaping Tiger City that the emperors did not give the order to continue attacking Mausoleum City. After all, the most important thing now was Leaping Tiger City. Speaking of Leaping Tiger City, Yun Tianyi could not help but sigh. I wonder how the battle in Leaping Tiger City will turn out. Leaping Tiger City is beyond our reach. Even if we want to help, there's nothing we can do. Now, the most important thing for us is to guard Mausoleum City, Xiaochen said. Indeed, Leaping Tiger City could not intervene. Moreover, Mausoleum City was no less important than Leaping Tiger City. It could be said that the burden on Xiaochen and Yun Tianyi was definitely not light. After hearing Xiaochen's words, Yun Tianyi nodded in agreement. It was also at this moment that an elder of the sword sect hurried in and looked at Xiaochen nervously. Sect leader, Yang Chen and a young man from the evil path suddenly appeared outside the city and said that they want to see you. Yang Chen and a young man suddenly appeared. Hearing the two words Yang Chen, Yun Tianyi's expression clearly became somewhat complicated. However, Xiaochen smiled faintly. Yang Chen? He did not expect that Yang Chen would actually dare to appear in Mausoleum City and even say that he wanted to see him. He did not know what Yang Chen was up to, but after thinking for a moment, Xiaochen decided to go and see him. He immediately looked at Yun Tianyi and asked, "How is it, Brother Yun? Do you want to meet him? Let's go." Hearing that, Yun Tianyi sighed. Yun Tianyi and Yang Chen's relationship was not bad before, but following the betrayal of the Coiling Heaven sect, Yun Tianyi and Yang Chen had clearly become enemies. Their previous friendship was not worth mentioning in the face of such a major issue. Not knowing the purpose of Yang Chen's visit, Xiaochen, Yun Tianyi, as well as the experts of the Sword Sect and Mu Tian Mountain, soon arrived outside the city. From afar, they saw Yang Chen and the evil spirits standing in the sky outside the city. None of them recognized the evil spirit. After all, the evil spirits had not fought with the Great Thousand World after awakening. However, looking at the posture of the two of them, Yang Chen was clearly half a step behind the evil spirit. This was undoubtedly telling Xiaochen and the others that the evil spirits were the ones in charge. A strange look flashed in their eyes, but Xiaochen and Yun Tianyi still soared into the sky and arrived in front of Yang Chen and the evil spirit. This was their first meeting, and the evil spirits did not care about Yun Tianyi at all. Instead, they looked directly at Xiaochen and said indifferently, "You're Xiaochen?" Although Xiaochen did not recognize the evil spirits, he still nodded to acknowledge them. Seeing this, the evil spirits did not keep them in suspense and directly introduced themselves. "I'm the evil spirits. I'm the evil spirits from the evil path. I've heard about you from Yang Chen before, so I've specially come to meet you today." There was no hint of sarcasm in his words. Instead, he was looking down on Xiaochen. He was very calm, as if he was really just there to meet Xiaochen. However, Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. This was the first time he had heard of a heretic. Immediately, Xiaochen smiled and said, "You came all the way here just to meet me? Don't you want to fight me?" Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2370. He had never met the evil spirits before, let alone have any relationship with them. When they heard Xiaochen's words, the evil spirit's expression didn't change. "I originally wanted to fight you, but you're injured. Furthermore, you're still too weak, so I'm not interested." When the evil spirits said this, it was as if they were talking about an insignificant matter. They weren't mocking or humiliating Xiaochen. The feeling they gave was that they truly felt that Xiaochen was too weak. Xiaochen didn't get angry when he heard the evil spirit's words. When facing the evil spirits, Xiaochen's intuition kept telling him that these guys were jealous and dangerous. He couldn't underestimate them. Now that an evil disciple had suddenly appeared on the evil path side, and he was probably very strong. Xiao Chun began to make guesses. Their foundation was indeed deep. Although they had been defeated back then, the foundation that the evil path had displayed wasn't inferior to that of the Great Thousand World. They had countless experts. Xiao Chun calmly looked at the evil spirit. He didn't know why the evil spirits had come, but it didn't seem like they wanted to attack. However, Xiao Chun didn't say anything. Instead, Yun Tianyi shouted coldly, "Yang Chen, you actually dare to come to Mausoleum City? Are you walking right into a trap?" Yun Tianyi's feelings toward Yang Chen were extremely complicated. Facing Yun Tianyi's angry shout, Yang Chen closed his eyes. After all, it was a fact that the Heavenly Gate had betrayed the Great Thousand World, and Yang Chen couldn't refute it. However, just as Yun Tianyi finished speaking, the evil spirit's expression darkened. "A piece of trash actually has the face to talk nonsense here? Trash?" Yun Tianyi had never been called trash in his life, let alone by someone of the same generation. Since he was young, Yun Tianyi had always been a genius. No matter where he went, he was the most dazzling existence. However, in the eyes of the evil spirits, he had become trash. Infuriated, Yun Tianyi looked at the evil spirits and coldly shouted, "Do you want to die?" Yun Tianyi was already in a bad mood because of Yang Chen. Now that the evil spirits called him trash, Yun Tianyi was even more furious. However, in the face of Yun Tianyi's rage, the evil spirits did not seem to mind at all. Instead, they calmly said, "What's wrong? You're trash, yet you won't let others talk about you?" The attitude of the evil spirits towards Xiao Chun and Yun Tianyi was completely different. When facing Xiao Chun, the evil spirits didn't show any disdain or contempt. However, when facing Yun Tianyi, the evil spirits didn't hide their disdain and contempt. It was as if they really looked down on Yun Tianyi. It could be said that they were completely ignored by the evil spirit. Naturally, Yun Tianyi couldn't bear it. The two of them dared to come to the Mausoleum City, and even dared to talk nonsense. Naturally, Yun Tianyi wouldn't let the evil spirits leave just like that. Killing intent emerged in his eyes as Yun Tianyi coldly shouted, "You're courting death." Immediately after, he directly attacked the evil spirit. Seeing Yun Tianyi attack, Xiao Chun originally wanted to stop him. After all, he couldn't see through the evil spirit's strength. If Yun Tianyi rashly attacked, he would most likely suffer. Unfortunately, before Xiao Chun could say anything, Yun Tianyi had already attacked the evil spirit. Seeing Yun Tianyi attack, Yang Chen also immediately reacted. Now that Yang Chen had followed the evil spirits, he naturally couldn't remain indifferent when someone attacked the evil spirit. However, the evil spirits stopped Yang Chen and said, "You're not strong enough. I don't have much time to waste here." With Yang Chen's strength to defeat Yun Tianyi, putting aside whether it was possible, it was absolutely impossible for Yang Chen to do so in a short period of time. After stopping Yang Chen, the evil spirits personally attacked Yun Tianyi. Casually sending out a palm strike, the evil spirits said indifferently, "A person should know himself well. If a person is like a frog at the bottom of a well who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, such a person is no different from a fool." The evil spirits said that Yun Tianyi didn't know himself. Hearing this, the anger in Yun Tianyi's heart burned even brighter. Without saying anything, he directly sent out a punch. Yun Tianyi was very confident in his own strength. No matter how weak he was, it was impossible for him to lose to the evil spirits right from the start. Yun Tianyi angrily attacked. However, the next scene was unexpected to everyone present. The two fists collided and Yun Tianyi was instantly sent flying. However, in just a single exchange, Yun Tianyi was completely suppressed by the evil spirit. No, it should be said that he was completely crushed. After forcing Yun Tianyi back with a palm strike, the evil spirits took a step forward and pointed at Yun Tianyi again. A blood-red finger light was aimed at Yun Tianyi's forehead. Seeing this, Yun Tianyi was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. He narrowly dodged the finger attack of the evil spirit. However, the evil spirits didn't give Yun Tianyi the slightest chance to catch his breath. Just as Yun Tianyi dodged the finger attack, the evil spirits had already appeared in front of Yun Tianyi. The evil spirits fiercely threw out a punch and ruthlessly hit Yun Tianyi's chest. His blood surged and a trace of blood involuntarily flowed out from the corner of his mouth. In just 3 moves, Yun Tianyi was injured by the evil spirit. However, it wasn't over yet. The evil spirits didn't spare him and continued to attack. At this moment, Yun Tianyi was greatly alarmed. He didn't expect the evil spirits to be so strong. They were so strong that he couldn't withstand them at all. He had never met such a character before. For a moment, Yun Tianyi's face turned ashen. Compared to the difference in combat strength, Yun Tianyi's confidence was completely shattered by the evil spirits. The evil spirits had an overwhelming advantage right from the start. Judging from the current situation, Yun Tianyi would probably be defeated in 100 moves at most. However, just as Yun Tianyi found it harder and harder to resist, Shao Chen suddenly made his move. He blocked the evil spirit's punch for Yun Tianyi and took the opportunity to pull Yun Tianyi behind him. Shao Chen made his move and clashed head-on with the evil spirit. The evil spirits didn't move an inch while Shao Chen took 3 steps back. Shao Chen was still at a disadvantage. However, compared to Yun Tianyi, he was much better. At least, he wasn't directly sent flying by the evil spirit. Seeing Shao Chen make his move, the evil spirits didn't continue to attack. They only glanced at Yun Tianyi indifferently before shifting their gaze to Shao Chen. I said that you're injured. However, even if you're in your peak condition, you're still no match for me. When speaking to Shao Chen, the evil spirit's attitude was still as calm as an ancient well. There were no fluctuations in their emotions at all. However, their indifferent tone gave off a majesty that couldn't be rejected. Hearing the evil spirit's words, Shao Chen didn't refute. This was because the evil spirits were speaking the truth. Their strength was the strongest that Shao Chen had seen in his life. They were both at the small perfection end realm. However, the strength that the evil spirits displayed shocked Shao Chen. Moreover, there was one thing that he was sure of. The evil spirits definitely didn't use their full strength. At least, they didn't use their trump cards. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2371. The evil spirit's strength shocked Shao Chen, but the evil spirits didn't attack again. They just looked at Shao Chen and calmly spoke. The evil spirit's strength shocked Shao Chen, but the evil spirits didn't attack again. They just looked at Shao Chen and calmly spoke. Your strength isn't bad. At the very least, you're a bit stronger than those trash. Shao Chen, I'll give you time to heal. Once you're healed, we'll fight again. Before that, my corrupt path won't attack Tomb City. The evil spirits gave Shao Chen enough time to heal, and they even guaranteed that they wouldn't attack Tomb City before then. Hearing that, Shao Chen's eyes flashed. Shao Chen could sense a strong confidence from the evil spirit's words. That was a confidence that they believed in themselves no matter what. It was precisely because of this confidence that Shao Chen's fighting spirit was ignited. He looked at the evil spirits and smiled. If you want to fight, you don't have to wait until the future. You can do it today. Furthermore, I can guarantee that no one else will attack Tomb City. As a heretic of the corrupt path, the evil spirits didn't give Shao Chen the slightest dislike. On the contrary, Shao Chen admired the evil spirit. This was the first time the two of them had met, but Shao Chen couldn't help admiring the evil spirits. It was because the evil spirits were straightforward and upright. Although they were heretics of the corrupt path, their characters weren't sinister. Perhaps this was because of the evil spirits' confidence in themselves. Because of this confidence, the evil spirits weren't willing to use any underhanded methods. Even if they wanted to win fair and square. Shao Chen secretly admired the evil spirit. However, after hearing Shao Chen's words, the evil spirits smiled and said, "Now? Right now, you're no match for me. You don't even have the desire for me to make a move. Furthermore, do you really think that there's someone in this mausoleum city who can stop me? If that was the case, then the Emperor Realm Master in Mausoleum City would have already made his move. Recuperate well. Sooner or later, I will come and fight you, and it shouldn't be too far away. Without waiting for Xiao Chen's reply, the evil spirits turned around and left. Throughout the entire process, no one in Mausoleum City made a move. Even Luo Xing and the others had no intention of making a move. Watching Phantasm's departing figure, Xiao Chen had a vague idea of what was going on. It wasn't much different from what Xiao Chen had guessed. Luo Xing and the others naturally knew that the evil spirits had arrived. However, the three of them didn't make a move because there were no less than 5 evil sovereigns hiding in the shadows. As a result, Luo Xing and the others naturally wouldn't casually make a move. Furthermore, the evil spirits didn't have any intention of attacking Mausoleum City, so they naturally weren't a threat. For the time being, Mausoleum City didn't want to continue fighting with the evil path. Since the evil spirits didn't have any intention of attacking Mausoleum City and had even taken the initiative to retreat, Luo Xing and the others naturally wouldn't take the initiative to provoke them. With 5 evil sovereigns protecting them, it was no wonder that the evil spirits were so confident. Under the protection of 5 evil sovereigns, the evil spirits could safely leave. Only after watching the evil spirits disappear from sight did Xiao Chen look at Yun Tianyi. Even now, Yun Tianyi's expression was still very ugly. In response, Xiao Chen could only smile. Let's go. We'll talk when we get back. Today, Yun Tianyi had clearly suffered a heavy blow at the hands of the evil spirit. If the evil spirits were experts of the older generation, Yun Tianyi would probably feel better. However, the evil spirits were of the same generation as Yun Tianyi. Yun Tianyi found it somewhat difficult to accept being defeated by the evil spirit. Once again, they returned to the city. On the other side, after leaving Mausoleum City, Yang Chen curiously asked the evil spirits, "Xiezi, where are we going now?" "To Leaping Tiger City." Hearing this, the evil spirits revealed a faint smile. Leaping Tiger City? Hearing this, Yang Chen was stunned. Currently, both the Evil Path and the Great Thousand World had gathered a large number of troops in Leaping Tiger City. It was as if they were preparing for a big battle. If they were to go to Leaping Tiger City now, could it be that the evil spirits also planned to intervene in the Battle of Leaping Tiger City? The evil spirits did not keep Yang Chen in suspense. Faced with Yang Chen's guess, the evil spirits quickly gave an answer. The evil spirits spoke in a neither fast nor slow manner. "We've already lost Mausoleum City. Naturally, we won't allow any accidents to happen in Leaping Tiger City. Moreover, I also want to see the other heavens' prides and monsters of the Great Thousand World." After saying this, the evil spirits did not give Yang Chen any chance to speak and directly rushed to Leaping Tiger City. Seeing this, although Yang Chen did not know what the evil spirits were thinking, he could only quickly follow. Mausoleum City temporarily regained its peace. Moreover, because of the evil spirits, the evil path did not have any intention of attacking Mausoleum City. As the Xiezi of the evil path, the evil spirits' words still had a lot of weight in the evil path. It could even be said that they were second only to Xie Tian. Even the evil sovereigns could not ignore the evil spirits' words. Therefore, since the evil spirits said that they would not attack Mausoleum City, the evil path would indeed not attack Mausoleum City. Therefore, at this moment, whether it was the evil path or the Great Thousand World, they placed their focus on Leaping Tiger City. Both sides had gathered many experts around Leaping Tiger City. As time went by, the battle quickly broke out. The Great Thousand Worlds side had mobilized 4 heaven-ascending heavy armies and dozens of other large and small forces. They vowed to take down Leaping Tiger City in one fell swoop. On the other hand, the Evil Path had also arranged a large number of troops in Leaping Tiger City. Their strength was not weaker than the great thousand worlds. In the first battle, both sides were locked in a fierce battle. It could be said that it was extremely tragic. After 3 days and 3 nights of fierce battle, both sides retreated and temporarily stopped fighting. There were heavy casualties, but Leaping Tiger City was still not taken down. At night, Dao Ju sat in the hall of the Saber Sect's encampment with an angry face. His face was cold and gloomy. The Saber Sect had suffered heavy losses in this battle. Although they had killed many evil path cultivators, Dao Ju felt a pain in his heart when he thought of the Saber Sect's losses. Damn it, how many people did the evil path arrange in Leaping Tiger City? Saber Ju cursed under his breath. Just as Saber Ju was inwardly fuming, a Saber Sect vice sect master strode in. He first bowed respectfully to Saber Ju before speaking. Sect leader, the casualties of all the major sects have been calculated. The casualties of the Moon Palace, Heavenly Policy Mansion, and Heavenly Een Tower are similar to our Saber Sect. They have indeed suffered heavy losses in this battle. However, I think the same is true for the evil path. They did not gain much advantage. The casualties of the 10 great Ling Tian sects, including the Saber Sect, were similar. This was normal. After all, the attack on Leaping Tiger City this time was launched by the 4 great Ling Tian sects from all 4 directions. No one could hide at the back, so it was normal for the casualties to be similar. Dao Ju cursed in his heart. However, he still ordered, treat the injured and distribute the healing medicinal pills as soon as possible. As for those that are not enough, ask the sovereigns. Remember, you must ensure that every disciple of the Saber Sect has enough healing medicinal pills. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2372. After the battle, both the Great Thousand World and the Evil Path suffered heavy losses. Even so, both sides had no intention of stopping. After the battle, both the Great Thousand World and the Evil Path suffered heavy losses. Even so, both sides had no intention of stopping. The Great Thousand World side was determined to take down Leaping Tiger City. As for the Evil Path, after losing Mausoleum City, they naturally couldn't let the Great Thousand World obtain Leaping Tiger City. Otherwise, once both Leaping Tiger City and Mausoleum City fell into the hands of the Great Thousand World, the Evil Path would be particularly passive. Otherwise, the Great Thousand World could directly attack the Evil God Palace from either Mausoleum City or Leaping Tiger City. At that time, the Evil Path would be attacked from both sides. Therefore, the Evil Path's intention for Leaping Tiger City was very clear. They had to defend Leaping Tiger City. Otherwise, the Great Thousand World would succeed. At that moment, the battle in Leaping Tiger City had become the focus of attention for both sides. As for the Mausoleum City, because of the battle in Leaping Tiger City, Dan Qingyang and the old man also hurried to Leaping Tiger City, leaving only Luo Xing to guard the Mausoleum City. As for the other sovereigns, except for Jun Huia and Dao Xiong, everyone else rushed to Leaping Tiger City, including Tenzu. The battle in Leaping Tiger City was impossible for both sides to back down. The sovereigns of the Great Thousand World rushed to Leaping Tiger City, and the Evil Path's evil venerables also gathered in Leaping Tiger City. At the same time, the evil spirits also brought Yang Chen and arrived in Leaping Tiger City after rushing all the way. Leaping Tiger City was still in the hands of the Evil Path, and the arrival of the evil spirits was personally received by the evil venerables. In the main hall of the City Lord's mansion in Leaping Tiger City, Phantasm and the other evil sovereigns were gathered together to discuss the upcoming battle. However, Phantasm was not very interested in this matter, and only said a few words indifferently. Seniors, you're still in charge of the specific battle matters. There's no need to make any calculations. I'm only here to meet the geniuses of the Great Thousand World. Of course, if there's anything you need me to do, feel free to ask. I won't refuse. The evil spirits had no intention of interfering with the upcoming battle arrangements. Since the evil sovereigns had already formulated a plan, they would just execute it according to the plan. The evil spirits would not interfere. Hearing the evil spirits' words, the evil sovereigns nodded in agreement. They all knew the personality of the evil spirits, and they also knew that the evil spirits didn't care about these things. This guy was a martial arts fanatic, and he only liked the feeling of fighting against the strong. The arrival of the evil spirits in Leaping Tiger City did not alarm many people. In fact, other than the evil sovereigns, not many people knew about the arrival of the evil spirit. As for Leaping Tiger City, it was still defending according to the previous plan. However, after the recent battle, both sides were probably in the recuperation stage, so no battle broke out for the time being. Instead, there were some small-scale conflicts from time to time. However, the evil spirits weren't interested in these small-scale conflicts. The evil spirits only wanted to see how strong the geniuses of the Great Thousand World were. The evil spirits had already met Shao Chun and Yun Tianyi in Mausoleum City. In addition to Yang Chen, it could be said that the evil spirits had already met 3 geniuses of the Great Thousand World. To be honest, apart from Shao Chen, Yun Tianyi and Yang Chen did not catch the eye of the evil spirit. Although Yang Chen and Yun Tianyi were also known as geniuses of the Great Thousand World, they were still too weak in the eyes of the evil spirit. At least, they were much weaker than the geniuses of the Great Thousand World. As for Shao Chen, he was only SOSO. However, it was still not enough to make the evil spirits excited. This was because the evil spirits had absolute confidence in winning against Shao Chen. They might even be able to kill Shao Chen. They couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. On the 3rd day after the evil spirits arrived in Leaping Tiger City, Yang Chen hurriedly came to the evil spirit. He bowed respectfully and said, "Xie, there is news that the sect master of the Heavenly Yin Tower, Yin Xing, has personally led people to fight with us in the west of Leaping Tiger City." Xieming had been waiting for news about the various outstanding geniuses, but he hadn't been nervous until now. Today, Yin Xing had personally led a group of people to fight against the evil path. Xieming opened his eyes abruptly, and a bright light flashed in his eyes. The sect master of the Heavenly Yin Tower, Yin Xing? Very well, I will go and meet him. Without waiting for Yang Chen's reply, the evil spirits disappeared in a flash. Seeing the evil spirits leave, Yang Chen naturally chased after them. At the same time as the evil spirits set off, Yin Xing and the others were fighting fiercely with a group of evil cultivators on a plain in the west of Leaping Tiger City. They were completely unaware that they had been targeted by the evil spirit. Early in the morning, Yin Xing led a group of Heavenly Yin Tower's experts and took the initiative to attack the evil cultivators' encampment in the west of Leaping Tiger City. A fierce battle broke out between both sides. Yin Xing didn't think of directly attacking Leaping Tiger City. After all, the defense of Leaping Tiger City was impregnable. However, it was just an encampment of evil cultivators, so Yin Xing didn't have the slightest fear. In the previous battle, the Heavenly Yin Tower had suffered heavy losses. This made Yin Xing inwardly furious. Taking the initiative to attack today could be considered as venting the anger in his heart. Under Yin Xing's lead, the experts of the Heavenly Yin Tower all attacked viciously. However, the evil cultivators didn't show any signs of cowardice. Both sides engaged in an intense battle. However, looking at the current situation, it seemed like the Heavenly Yin Tower held a certain amount of initiative. After all, with a genius like Yin Xing here, the ordinary End Realm experts of the evil path weren't his match at all. Although Yin Xing couldn't do what Shao Chen did and kill 9 End Realm experts of the evil path in a row, he could still fight 1 against 3. With Yin Xing holding the fort, the Heavenly Shadow Tower did indeed have a huge advantage. Fighting 1 against 3, Yin Xing's side still had the upper hand. At the same time, one of the End Realm evil cultivators was heavily injured by Yin Xing and was in imminent danger. Seeing that the evil cultivator was heavily injured, Yin Xing didn't hold back. After a head-on clash, he directly forced the other two to retreat. Yin Xing directly charged towards the heavily injured evil cultivator. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he mercilessly struck out with a sure kill blow. "I'll kill one first." In Yin Xing's eyes, this heavily injured End Realm expert wouldn't be able to block his strike. He was already a dead man. However, just as Yin Xing's attack was about to land on the evil warrior, a blood-chi barrier instantly formed in front of the evil warrior and easily blocked Yin Xing's attack. Seeing that his sure kill blow was blocked, Yin Xing's face sunk. At the same time, he shouted coldly, "Who?" Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. End of chapter. Chapter 2373. It was supposed to be a sure kill attack, but who would have thought that it would be blocked at the last moment? Yin Xing shouted with a gloomy face. Following his shout, a spatial crack slowly appeared on the battlefield. Following which, the evil spirits and Yang Chen slowly walked out of it. Of course, Yin Xing didn't want to cause any trouble for the phantasms. However, he was very familiar with Yang Chen. His gaze went past the phantasms and landed on Yang Chen. A hint of surprise flashed across his eyes as he said coldly, "Yang Chen, you traitor!" Although Yin Xing and Yang Chen had a good relationship, just like Yun Tianyi, Yang Chen had betrayed the Great Thousand World. Therefore, Yin Xing had to make his stand clear when dealing with a traitor. Yin Xing immediately shouted angrily. Facing Yin Xing's angry shout, Yang Chen didn't reply. Instead, the evil spirits said calmly, "You are the sect master of the heavenly Yin Tower, Yin Xing?" While speaking, the evil spirits couldn't help but reveal a trace of disappointment in their eyes. Hearing this, Yin Xing's gaze turned to the evil spirit. When he saw the disappointment in the evil spirit's eyes and the way they shook their heads, Yin Xing's face sank. "Who are you?" Hearing Yin Xing's words, the evil spirit said indifferently, "I thought there would be some surprises, but it seems like I thought too much." The evil spirits could see through Yin Xing's strength at a glance. He was on par with Yang Chen and Yun Tianyi, but he couldn't be compared to Xiao Chen. Therefore, the evil spirits couldn't help but feel disappointed. In the eyes of the evil spirits, Yin Xing was too weak and couldn't pique their interest at all. After speaking, the evil spirits completely ignored Yin Xing and prepared to leave. Seeing this, the anger in Yin Xing's heart burned even more fiercely. He was completely ignored. Courting death. Seeing the evil spirits turn around, Yin Xing cursed and immediately attacked the evil spirit. In the face of Yin Xing's attack, the evil spirits didn't even look at him and casually threw out a palm. Seeing this, Yin Xing also threw out a punch. When the fist and palm collided, Yin Xing was forced to retreat 7 to 8 steps. After a head-on collision, Yin Xing was at a disadvantage. On the other hand, the evil spirits didn't stop, and it was obvious that they were prepared to leave. Yin Xing was shocked by the evil spirits easily. "Evil Yang, you traitor! Yang Chen!" With these words, Yin Xing launched another attack. As one of the chosen ones in the Great Thousand Domains, Yin Xing was naturally an extremely proud person. It was only natural that he was unwilling to be challenged by a phantasm like this. He attacked again. This time, the evil spirits finally turned around and looked at Yin Xing, but there was a faint coldness in their eyes. "You overestimate yourself. Originally, I wasn't interested in ants. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Yin Xing acted recklessly. Of course, the evil spirits couldn't ignore him. The evil spirits looked down on Yin Xing. In the evil spirits' eyes, Yin Xing wasn't worth their time. Therefore, they didn't intend to kill him. However, even if the evil spirits weren't interested in killing Yin Xing, it didn't mean that they could jump around in front of them again and again. As soon as the evil spirits finished speaking, a monstrous blood aura soared into the sky from behind them. Sensing this monstrous blood aura, the vice-sect leaders of the heavenly Yin Tower were stunned. Two of them even said nervously, "Sect leader," As soon as the aura of the phantasms was released, everyone felt a chill run down their spines. Even Yin Xing's expression flickered as he sensed it. The strength of the evil spirits had completely exceeded Yin Xing's imagination. However, before Yin Xing could do anything, the evil spirits had already taken the initiative to attack. The dense blood aura instantly condensed into a huge blood-red palm. It slammed down from the sky and completely enveloped Yin Xing. The incomparable might caused Yin Xing's hair to stand on end. Seeing that there was no way to avoid it, Yin Xing could only choose to take it head-on. He adjusted his aura to the limit and attacked with all his strength, colliding with the blood-red palm. Yin Xing was obviously at a disadvantage. However, as a monstrous genius in the Great Thousand World, Yin Xing wasn't so weak that he couldn't take a palm from the evil spirit. Although the blood in his body was surging, Yin Xing didn't lose his combat strength. However, just as Yin Xing blocked the palm from the evil spirits had already appeared in front of Yin Xing. The two of them immediately engaged in an intense battle. The evil spirits wanted to kill Yin Xing. Therefore, the strength of their attack was obviously much more ruthless than when they fought with Yun Tianyi. Facing the evil spirits, who were filled with killing intent, Yin Xing couldn't contend with them. After a few moves, he was already at a disadvantage and could only bitterly hold on. Seeing that Yin Xing wasn't a match for the evil spirits, the few deputy sect leaders of the Heavenly Yin Tower were shocked. Since the sect leader was in danger, they naturally couldn't leave him to die. At the same time, the 4 deputy sect leaders of the Heavenly Yin Tower directly attacked the evil spirit. Seeing this, the evil spirits coldly snorted and said, "You're courting death." After saying that, the evil spirits forced Yin Xing back with a punch and turned around to attack the 4 deputy sect leaders. Without much effort, the 4 deputy sect leaders of the Heavenly Yin Tower all died in the hands of the evil spirit. Seeing that the evil spirits had killed the 4 deputy sect leaders of the Heavenly Yin Tower, Yin Xing's face was gloomy. The 4 great sects had 4 end realm experts. Losing 4 deputy sect leaders in one go was a huge blow to the Heavenly Yin Tower. However, after killing the 4, the evil spirits didn't plan to stop. With a flash, they charged toward Yin Xing again. At this moment, Yin Xing was no longer as arrogant as before. He completely understood the difference in strength between him and the evil spirit. At this moment, Yin Xing naturally didn't dare to fight to the death with the evil spirits. Unfortunately, Yin Xing couldn't even escape from the hands of the evil spirits. He used many of his life-saving trump cards, but they were all broken by the evil spirits. Worldly possessions are worldly possessions after all. If your strength isn't enough, do you really think that these life-saving trump cards can save your life at the last moment? After breaking Yin Xing's life-saving trump cards one by one, the evil spirits said with disdain. The moment he said that, the evil spirits appeared in front of Yin Xing in a flash. Yin Xing, who was already heavily injured, didn't even have time to react. The evil spirit's finger was already on Yin Xing's forehead. "Ant, die." As he said that, a bloody light flashed and directly pierced through Yin Xing's forehead. Before he died, Yin Xing looked at the evil spirits with eyes filled with shock and fear. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2374. The bloody light pierced through Yin Xing's glabella. Even until his death, Yin Xing had never thought that he would die in this world, and at the hands of someone of the same generation as him. The bloody light pierced through Yin Xing's glabella. Even until his death, Yin Xing had never thought that he would die in this world, and at the hands of someone of the same generation as him. Just as the evil spirits had said, Yin Xing had many life-saving treasures on him. However, he was not strong enough, so could his life-saving treasures really save his life? It might be possible once or twice, but what if it happened too many times? However, it was useless to say anything now, because Yin Xing's life had come to an end. His eyes were round, and he could not close his eyes even in death. A supreme talent of his generation had fallen in front of everyone just like that. Looking at Yin Xing's death, many of the heavenly Yin Tower's experts were stunned. They had never thought that Yin Xing would die in what was supposed to be an ordinary battle. After killing Yin Xing, the evil spirits did not attack again. They turned to look at Yang Chen and said, "Let's go." After saying that, the evil spirits left with Yang Chen. They had no intention of continuing to attack. However, even though the evil spirits did not attack, the other evil path cultivators did not. They continued to attack the heavenly Yin Tower's expert. With Yin Xing's death, the morale of the heavenly Yin Tower's experts was greatly reduced. They no longer had any fighting spirit. Carrying the corpses of Yin Xing and the others, they chose to retreat. It could be said that they returned to the heavenly Yin Tower's base in a sorry state. Soon, the news of Yin Xing's death spread throughout the Great Thousand World. Knowing that Yin Xing had died, all the major forces in the Great Thousand World were in an uproar. In the Saber sect, Dao Ju was originally thinking about the next battle. Suddenly, a deputy sect leader of the Saber sect rushed in, looking anxious. Seeing this, Dao Ju asked with a smile, "What's wrong? Why are you in such a hurry?" For the deputy sect leader to be so anxious, it seemed like it was not a small matter. Dao Ju was also interested. Regarding this, the deputy sect leader said bluntly, "Sect leader, Yin Xing is dead." After hearing this, the smile on Dao Ju's face gradually froze. In the end, it disappeared. He looked at the deputy sect leader in disbelief and asked, "What did you say?" "Yin Xing has died at the hands of the evil Daos, 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 evil Dao." Yin Xing's death had been told by the evil Dao's evil son, Phantasm. Hearing this, Saber Ju's heart was filled with shock. But who would have thought that a heavenly genius would die just like that? And the ones who killed him were not the evil sovereigns of the evil path. Dao Ju immediately inquired about the details of what had happened. He learned that the evil spirits had killed Yin Xing in just a few hundred moves. Dao Ju was even more shocked. If they could kill Yin Xing so easily, then the evil spirits were definitely much stronger than Yin Xing. Since when did such a person appear in the evil path? After Dao Ju heard the entire story, he was still unable to let it go for a long time. It was not only Dao Ju. Xiao Xiao, Li Chun, and the others were also the same. In the heavenly Yin Tower's encampment, the sovereigns who had heard the news also rushed over. Yin Litian was speechless for a long time when he saw Yin Xing's corpse. Yin Xing was his disciple. Now that he was dead, Yin Litian did not know how to feel. It was very complicated. The evil disciples of the evil path? He has already awakened? The heavenly ancestor also looked at Yin Xing's corpse with a solemn expression. Tenzu had participated in the previous battle between the righteous and evil paths, so he naturally knew about the evil spirit. Back then, no one in the younger generation of the Great Thousand World was a match for the evil spirit. In the end, only Wu Di stood up and fought against the evil spirit. However, he was defeated by the evil spirits in the end. The heavenly ancestor still had a deep impression of Wu Di. In terms of talent alone, Wu Di was definitely the best person the heavenly ancestor had ever seen. Compared to Wu Di, the heavenly geniuses of the Great Thousand World could be said to be far inferior. If Wu Di had not died back then, Tenzu even believed that Wu Di would definitely have broken through to the sovereign realm and reached an unprecedented cultivation realm. Wu Di was definitely destined to be the best, and his talent was unparalleled. However, even so, he still died at the hands of the evil spirits in the end. After the battle between the righteous and evil paths, the evil spirits mysteriously disappeared. Tenzu and the many sovereigns searched for them for a long time, but in the end they found nothing. Now, it seemed that the evil spirits were indeed not dead. They had been hidden somewhere by their father, and now they had reappeared. After paying respects to Yin Xing, the sovereigns came to the hall. Enlitian immediately looked at Tenzu and asked, "Tenzu, do you know the identity of the evil spirits?" Tenzu's expression changed when he learned that Xing had died at the hands of the evil spirits. Enlitian happened to see this scene. Therefore, Enlitian guessed that Tenzu must know the identity of the evil spirit. Tenzu did not hide anything from Enlitian's question. He nodded slightly to show that he knew. Seeing this, Enlitian's eyes flashed with a cold light. "Who is this person?" "The only son of the evil god Xietian," Tenzu said indifferently. There was no need to hide the identity of the evil spirit. Moreover, Tenzu did not think that they had the chance to kill the evil spirit. Although the evil spirit's current strength was indeed not enough to contend with the sovereigns, as the evil spirits, they naturally did not lack the protection of the evil spirits. Moreover, with the strength of the evil spirits, it was estimated that only the sovereigns could kill them. Even the geniuses of the great thousand world could not kill them, and they might even be killed by the evil spirit. The son of Xietian? Hearing Tenzu's words, the sovereigns present fell silent. It was not good news for the great wide world that a heaven-defying evil disciple had suddenly appeared on the evil path's side. Of course, what made everyone's hearts even heavier was what Tenzu said next. The evil spirits' combat strength was unparalleled back then, and no one of their peers was a match for them. During the great battle between the good and evil, the evil spirits could be said to have defeated all the geniuses of the great thousand world by themselves. Only the sovereigns could defeat such a character. Only the sovereigns could contend with the evil spirits and kill the evil spirit. Apart from them, even the geniuses were no match for the evil spirit. Hearing that Tenzu had given the evil spirits such a high evaluation, an sovereign was not convinced. So, no one in the great thousand world can contend with the evil spirits? Not even the other geniuses? No. Hearing this, Tenzu shook his head. Even Xing had died at the hands of the evil spirits, and the other geniuses had also suffered the same fate. If one had to say who among the geniuses of the great thousand world could contend with the evil spirits, then in Tenzu's opinion, only Shao Chen might have a little hope. Please add this to your collection, monthly votes and recommendations. Chapter 2375. Xing had fallen, and in Tenzu's eyes, none of the other geniuses in the great thousand world could fight against the evil spirits. The only one who stood a chance was Shao Chen. Of course, Tenzu didn't say that out loud. Xing had fallen, and in Tenzu's eyes, none of the other geniuses in the great thousand world could fight against the evil spirits. The only one who stood a chance was Shao Chen. Of course, Tenzu didn't say that out loud. That was because he only had a slight chance. Moreover, even though Shao Chen had killed 9 of the evil path's supreme experts a few days ago, that alone was still not enough to fight against the phantasms. If Shao Chen wanted to have the power to fight against the phantasms, he would have to improve even more. However, while Shao Chen was improving, the evil spirits were also improving. Moreover, with the evil spirits' talent, their improvement speed couldn't be slow. It was almost impossible for Shao Chen to catch up to him while the evil spirits were improving. Therefore, Tenzu could only think about it in his heart. The appearance of the evil spirits made the sovereigns present feel complicated. The battle in Leaping Tiger City was already in a state of anxiety, and now Xing had died. In addition, the strength of the evil spirits was so heaven-defying. This would affect the entire battle situation. The reason was simple. Apart from their own strength, geniuses were more important symbols. They represented the symbol of a large sect. For example, Xing was the sect master of the heavenly Yin Tower. Now that he was dead, it was needless to say how serious the blow to the morale of the heavenly Yin Tower was. Everyone in the heavenly Yin Tower was dejected. With such morale, how could they hope to kill and defeat those evil path cultivators who only knew how to kill? Low morale was the most serious consequence. Moreover, the price to pay to nurture a genius was extremely high. The value of losing a genius was not much different from losing a sovereign. Moreover, if the evil spirits could kill Yinxing, who could guarantee that other geniuses wouldn't die in his hands? Therefore, the following battle could be said to be extremely unfavorable to the Great Thousand World. Especially after the appearance of the phantasms, the entire situation had changed. The sovereigns thought of this, and on the other side, the evil sovereigns of the evil path also thought of this. The strength of the evil spirits was obvious to all. At this moment, in the Leaping Tiger City Lord's residence, the evil sovereigns gathered, and Yan's voice. Everyone is well aware of Xiezi's strength. Those geniuses of the Great Thousand World are no match for Xiezi. We must seize this opportunity to end the battle in Leaping Tiger City as soon as possible. It would be best if Lord Xiezi could kill a few more geniuses of the Great Thousand World. It wasn't impossible to use the strength of the evil spirits to deal with the geniuses of the Great Thousand World. This was because, other than sovereigns, no one could stop the evil spirit. Once the battle broke out, Yen Tong and the other evil sovereigns would naturally take action to hold back the sovereigns of the Great Thousand World. This would ensure that the sovereigns of the Great Thousand World would not have the time to think about other things, let alone help. In this way, with the strength of the evil spirits, it wouldn't be too difficult for them to kill the geniuses of the Great Thousand World. After hearing Yen Tong's words, the other evil sovereigns also expressed their agreement. Just because of the appearance of a single person, a member of the younger generation at that, a slight change had occurred in the battle situation of the entire Leaping Tiger City. No one dared to guarantee that such a change would be magnified infinitely in the future. Immediately, the evil path did not give the Great Thousand World any chance to breathe at all. They directly launched an attack on the Great Thousand World. The evil path, which was originally supposed to be defending, had now turned into an attack. This showed how confident they were at this time. In the face of the evil path's attack, the Great Thousand World had no choice but to fight back, unless the Great Thousand World was willing to give up on Leaping Tiger City. However, the Great Thousand World obviously would not give up on Leaping Tiger City until the very last moment. This was because Leaping Tiger City's position was really too important. After a few days of silence, the two sides broke out into a great battle again. This time, the evil sovereigns and sovereigns on both sides also fought fiercely. A total of 20 evil sovereigns and sovereigns were tangled in a chaotic battle. Just as Yen Tong had expected before the battle, the sovereigns of the Great Thousand World were completely entangled by them. At this time, it was impossible for them to rescue the sovereigns even if they wanted to. When the battle broke out, the evil spirits also took Yang Chen to join the battle unhurriedly. The evil spirits did not even have the intention to pay attention to the ordinary cultivators of the Great Thousand World at all. They had always let Yang Chen, who was beside them, take care of them. They killed one after another of the Great Thousand World's experts, and in response, many of the Great Thousand World's experts began to curse. Yang Chen, you traitor! Yang Chen, don't forget that you're from the Great Thousand World. Now you're actually siding with the evil path. In the face of everyone's curses, Yang Chen's expression did not change. He was also merciless in his attacks. He knew very well that from the moment he joined the evil path's camp, he had become an enemy of the Great Thousand World. Therefore, he did not show any mercy because of their previous friendship. With Yang Chen leading the way, the evil spirits quickly arrived at the center of the battlefield, where they met Dao Ju, Xiao Xiao, and Li Chun. The evil spirits immediately confirmed the identities of the three of them. They came in front of the three of them and said calmly, "I originally had no interest in ants, but since the evil sovereigns want you to die, I can't do anything about it. After all, I'm an evil disciple." Upon hearing the evil spirit's words, the expressions of Dao Ju and the other two changed slightly. If it was before, the three of them would probably have scoffed at the so-called evil disciples. However, after the incident with Sheng, they believed that no one would dare to look down on the evil spirits anymore. After all, the phantasms had killed a peerless genius, which was more than enough proof of their strength. The appearance of the evil spirits was within the expectations of the Dao Ju and the other two. In order to guard against the evil spirits, the three of them did not go all out after the battle began. They wanted to work together to deal with the evil spirit. Dao Ju and the other two had no confidence in fighting against the evil spirits in a one-on-one battle. Therefore, they could only gather everyone's strength to fight against the evil spirits. The evil spirits obviously saw through the thoughts of the three of them, and a smile appeared on his face. However, before he could say anything, Yang Chen scolded angrily. "What? You want to have more than one against one? It seems like the supreme talents of the great thousand world are getting worse and worse. Li Chun, if you have the ability, come and fight me. Do you dare?" Yang Chen was already part of the evil spirits, and he wanted to speak up for the evil spirit. However, Dao Ju and the other two's faces turned cold, and they glared at Yang Chen furiously. Li Chun even shouted angrily, "Yang Chen, I really didn't expect you to be so thick-skinned. However, do you think that you can still leave today? Begging for a monthly vote, begging for a recommendation." Chapter 2376. Li Chun bellowed coldly. In terms of hatred, Li Chun and the other two hated Yang Chen more because he was a traitor who betrayed the entire Great Thousand World. The murderous intent in Li Chun's eyes was unrestrained, but Yang Chen remained unmoved. In terms of strength, Yang Chen wasn't afraid of Li Chun. Besides, Yang Chen was also worried that it would be too difficult for the evil spirits to fight one against three. Therefore, as the evil spirit's lackey, Yang Chen had to step forward. However, before Yang Chen spoke, the evil spirits spoke first. "This is none of your business. Go and deal with the others." It was obvious that Phantasm didn't want Yang Chen to interfere. He didn't seem to be nervous or afraid of fighting three chosen ones at the same time. Yang Chen was taken aback by Phantasm's words. Although he knew that Phantasm was very powerful, it was indeed a little too much for him to take on three geniuses at once, not to mention that they were all monstrous geniuses. Just as he was about to say something, Phantasm interrupted him. "Xiezi." But before he could finish his sentence, Phantasm interrupted him. "Go." This time, a hint of displeasure could be seen on the Phantasm's face. Yang Chen, who knew the Phantasm's personality well, knew that he was already angry. Yang Chen didn't dare to raise any objections. He nodded, flew away, and attacked the other great thousand-world powerhouses. Without Yang Chen, the evil spirits shifted their gaze to Dao Ju and the other two. They were as calm and indifferent as ever, as though the evil spirits weren't facing three monstrous geniuses, but three ordinary cultivators instead. "Make your move. I hope the three of you can give me a surprise when you join forces," the evil spirits said indifferently. Even though the three of them had joined forces, they were still underestimated by the Phantasm. Naturally, Dao Ju and the other two were furious in their hearts. However, they did not dare to lower their guard. After all, the Phantasm's strength was obvious to all, and he was definitely not someone who only looked impressive. The three of them didn't dare to be careless. They attacked the evil spirits at the same time. The combined might of the three monstrous geniuses was naturally extraordinary. However, the Phantasm remained unfazed. A dense aura of blood appeared behind him, as a blood-red longsword slowly formed in front of him. At the same time, the Phantasm murmured softly, "Let's fight. I haven't used a sword for many years. I hope you won't disappoint me." After saying that, the evil spirits held the blood-red sword in one hand and slashed it out. The sharp sword light instantly slashed towards Dao Ju and the other two. Initially they were aggressive. However, when faced with the evil spirit's slash, Dao Ju and the other two's expressions changed drastically. They could feel the fatal danger from the slash. The phantasm's sword strike was already enough to threaten their lives. Therefore, the three phantasms hurriedly made their moves and successfully blocked the phantasm's sword strike. Tenzu was right. The evil spirits didn't use their full strength to kill Yinxing because the evil spirits were sword cultivators. The difference between a sword cultivator and a sword cultivator without a sword was completely different. Therefore, Phantasm had indeed held back when he had killed Yinxing. This time, facing Dao Ju and the other two prodigies at the same time, the evil spirits once again displayed some of their strength. With a single slash, they stopped Dao Ju and the other two's attack. In response, the evil spirits said indifferently, "If that's all the three of you are capable of, then I'm a little disappointed." After saying that, without waiting for the three's reply, the evil spirits took a step forward and instantly appeared beside Xiao Xiao. With a slash of its sword, the blood-red sword light gushed out like a volcanic eruption, tore through the void and tore through space, heading straight for Xiao Xiao. The sudden attack caused the blood-red light to streak across the sky. Seeing this, Dao Ju and Li Chun's expressions changed drastically. "Be careful." In response, Xiao Xiao reacted immediately. She gently waved her hands and coldly shouted, "Full moon." Instantly, a white crescent moon slowly formed in front of Xiao Xiao. At the same time, the evil spirit's blood-red sword light viciously struck the crescent moon. When the two collided, the crescent moon successfully blocked the evil spirit's attack. However, Xiao Xiao was also injured by the attack. Although it wasn't a serious injury, her blood was in turmoil, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth unconsciously. After suppressing Xiao Xiao with a single attack, the evil spirits were about to attack again. Naturally, Dao Ju and Li Chun wouldn't just stand by and watch. The two of them attacked the evil spirits from the left and right. At the same time, they attacked the evil spirits from both sides. The two attacks formed a pincer attack and viciously struck the evil spirit. The attacks seemed to have hit the evil spirit. However, before Dao Ju and Li Chun could heave a sigh of relief, the evil spirits suddenly appeared behind Li Chun. Even Li Chun and Dao Ju didn't manage to catch them in time. Feeling the cold aura continuously rising from his back, Li Chun immediately turned around and struck out with his palm. However, at this moment the evil spirits also struck out with their sword. The two of them viciously clashed, and Li Chun was immediately sent flying. "Your speed is too slow and your strength is too weak. If you can be called a genius in the great thousand world, then it's really disappointing." As they spoke, the evil spirits once again flashed and went straight for Li Chun, who was sent flying. Obviously, they wanted to kill Li Chun directly. In response, Dao Ju immediately acted to stop them. She unleashed her Blade Realm and instantly enveloped the evil spirits. Blade Realm? Now this is interesting. Sensing the power of Saber Extinction's Saber Realm, an intrigued smile appeared at the corner of Phantasm's mouth. However, although the Blade Realm was strong, Dao Ju's understanding of it was too weak. She had only reached the small perfection realm. For the evil spirits, whether it was the Sword Realm or the Blade Realm, it was useless if they didn't reach the small perfection realm. "Let me teach you how to use the power of the realm." As she spoke, the evil spirits also released a surge of realm power. It was the Sword Realm, and its power was many times stronger than Dao Ju's Blade Realm. The two realm powers collided. In just a few breaths' time, Dao Ju's Blade Realm was directly shattered by the evil spirit's Sword Realm. Sword Realm at the small perfection realm. Dao Ju's face revealed a look of shock when her Blade Realm was directly shattered. This was simply a blow to her confidence. Moreover, from the evil spirit's Sword Realm, Dao Ju could clearly sense that the evil spirit's Sword Realm had reached the small perfection realm. The difference between the small perfection realm and the large perfection realm seemed to be only a step away, but in fact it was as big as heaven and earth. For example, Dao Ju's blade realm could not resist the evil spirit's sword realm at all and was easily shattered. Moreover, the realm powers at the small perfection realm had an even more terrifying ability, which was an ability that all warriors dreamed of. It was the realm flash. Please add it to your collection. Monthly vote recommend it. Chapter 2377. After breaking through to the perfected realm, one would be able to use the realm flash within the range of the realm flash. Thinking of this, Saber Jew's face darkened even more. This was because with the realm flash, the phantasm would be almost invincible within his sword realm. Unless there was someone who had also comprehended the perfected realm flash, it would be very difficult to contend against the phantasm. After breaking through to the perfected realm, one would be able to use the realm flash within the range of the realm flash. Thinking of this, Saber Jew's face darkened even more. This was because with the realm flash, the phantasm would be almost invincible within his sword realm. Unless there was someone who had also comprehended the perfected realm flash, it would be very difficult to contend against the phantasm. The evil spirits smiled faintly when they saw Dao Ju's darkened expression. It seems like you've thought of World Flash. But what do you plan to do next? The evil spirits did not do anything as they spoke. They disappeared into thin air and reappeared beside Dao Ju. They patted Dao Ju's shoulder lightly before they finished speaking. Dao Ju did not react at all throughout the entire process. It was not that Dao Ju did not want to react, but he could not catch the evil spirit's movements. This was the terror of World Flash. The so-called World Flash was when one's world force broke through to perfect realm. The caster would be able to teleport as they wished within the range of the world force. This was true teleportation. It ignored space, and one could appear anywhere within the range of the world force with just a thought. It was not a movement technique, nor was it based on one's own speed. Therefore, there was no way to catch its movements. This was also why even when the evil spirits appeared beside Dao Ju and patted Dao Ju's shoulder, Dao Ju did not react at all. Just imagine, if the evil spirits had directly slashed at Dao Ju, what would have happened to him? Even if he did not die, he would definitely have been injured. At such a close distance, it was impossible for Dao Ju to completely dodge the evil spirit's attack. Moreover, before Dao Ju could react, the evil spirits disappeared again and returned to their previous positions in an instant. It was as if the evil spirits had not moved at all. Dao Ju's eyes were filled with deep fear. He did not expect the evil spirits to be so strong. Generally speaking, there were very few people who could break through to perfect realm force. Even if one looked at the entire history of the Great Thousand World, there were only 3 or 4 people who had comprehended perfect realm force. Moreover, almost all of them comprehended perfect realm force after breaking through to the Emperor realm. Dao Ju had only heard of one person who had comprehended perfect realm force before the Emperor realm, and that was Wu Di. Of course, there was also the evil spirit. In the evil spirit's sword world, there was no way for them to fight. First of all, it was impossible for the 3 of them to hit the evil spirits, and the evil spirits' attacks were difficult for the 3 of them to block perfectly. Moreover, with World Flash, the evil spirits could attack as they pleased. Their hearts were getting heavier and heavier. At this time, the evil spirit said faintly, "I'm going to make my move." With these words, the phantasm vanished from where he was standing and reappeared behind Li Chun. Li Chun, who had just stabilized himself, suddenly felt a chilly aura coming from behind him. The first thing Li Chun did was to turn around and see a blood-colored sword light slashing towards him. Even though he didn't have the time to dodge, Li Chun didn't give up. Knowing that he couldn't dodge the attack, Li Chun thrust his spear at the phantasm at the risk of being injured. The blood-red sword slammed into Li Chun's body, and Li Chun's spear also went straight for the evil spirits. The 2 of them were very close to each other. In Li Chun's opinion, the evil spirits could not dodge his spear. Of course, under normal circumstances, the evil spirits would have a hard time dodging Li Chun's spear. However, with World Flash, the situation was different. The evil spirits did not change their expressions when they saw Li Chun's attack. Their figure disappeared again, and Li Chun's attack missed. Li Chun did not hit the evil spirit. Moreover, because Li Chun was caught off guard by the evil spirit's attack, he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His injuries worsened and his face instantly turned pale. At the same time, his aura also weakened a lot. The attack injured Li Chun again. In the next second, before Xiao Xiao and the Dao Ju could react, the evil spirits appeared behind the Dao Ju. Using the same method, the Dao Ju was caught off guard. Xiao Xiao shouted, "Be careful!" Then, before the Dao Ju could defend herself, the evil spirit's attack had already landed on her. They successfully hit the Dao Ju again. After 2 consecutive attacks, Li Chun and the Dao Ju could not fight back at all. It was as if they were being played by the evil spirit. This time, after the evil spirits hit the Dao Ju, their figures also disappeared on the spot, not giving the Dao Ju any chance to fight back. After the evil spirits disappeared, the Dao Ju could not predict where the evil spirits would appear next. She could not catch the evil spirits' movements at all. "We have to break the sword realm, or we will lose without a doubt." The Dao Ju gritted her teeth and thought helplessly. If they did not break the evil spirit's sword realm, they would not be able to fight back. In the end, the 3 of them would be killed by the evil spirit. However, just as the Dao Ju was thinking about how to break the sword realm, the evil spirits hit Xiao Xiao with their swords. Xiao Xiao was instantly sent flying. At the same time, after this attack, the evil spirits did not choose to stop. Instead, they stood up and said softly, "Let's kill one of you first." It was obvious that the evil spirits intended to kill Xiao Xiao directly. Facing the evil spirits' attacks, Xiao Xiao was helpless. Although the evil spirits retaliated, the evil spirits were not afraid of Xiao Xiao's attacks at all. This was because within the sword realm, Xiao Xiao's attacks could not hit them at all. The evil spirits' figures were constantly flickering. It was impossible to know when they would appear and where they would appear. In the face of such a situation, Xiao Xiao's attacks were all in vain. However, in the blink of an eye, before the Dao Ju and Li Chun could save Xiao Xiao, the evil spirits had already appeared in front of Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao's face was still expressionless, but the sword in her hand was mercilessly thrust forward. The evil spirit's sword was heading straight for her heart. The dense aura of death firmly shrouded Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao was filled with despair. In front of the evil spirits, Xiao Xiao realized that she could not even withstand a single blow. She could not even hurt the evil spirit. Previously, Xiao Xiao thought that the 3 of them could fight against the evil spirits by working together. But now, it seemed like a joke. This was the first time Xiao Xiao felt that death was so close to her. However, at the last moment, the power of a world appeared out of thin air and instantly overlapped with the evil spirit's sword realm. Upon sensing the power of this world, the evil spirits paused their movements and a strange glint flashed in their eyes. A perfect sword realm? Who is it? Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 2378. The sudden appearance of the perfect sword realm caused the phantasm's hand movements to falter slightly. It was also at this moment that a white-robed figure appeared in front of Xiao Xiao and wrapped his arms around her waist. Then, the 2 of them disappeared from where they stood. The person who came had comprehended the sword realm at the perfect sword realm. Naturally, like the evil spirits, he could use the sword realm at will. The evil spirits looked into the distance and soon saw the person who came. It was Xiao Chen, whom they had met once in Mausoleum City. Obviously, the sword realm that suddenly appeared was Xiao Chen's. Xiao Chen's explanation had also broken through to the perfect sword realm. The evil spirits smiled and looked at Xiao Chen. They chuckled and said, "I didn't expect that even you would come to Leaping Tiger City." If there was anyone among the geniuses in the great thousand world that the evil spirits were looking forward to, it would probably be Shao Chen. When he heard the evil spirit's words, Shao Chen said calmly, "There's nothing I can do. They can't stop you." Shao Chen's words were true. Dao Ju, Li Chun, and Xiao Xiao were actually unable to stop the evil spirit. Moreover, if the evil spirits hadn't intervened, Xiao Xiao would have died just now. Xiao Xiao leaned in Shao Chen's arms. Her face was pale, and it was obvious that she was seriously injured. However, Shao Chen's arrival made Xiao Xiao feel relieved. She said softly, "You're here." Xiao Xiao indeed thought that she was going to die just now. Who would have thought that at the last moment, Shao Chen would appear in time and save her? While the two of them were talking, Dao Ju and Li Chun came to Shao Chen's side one after another. The evil spirits didn't seem to have any intention of intervening. Dao Ju and the others were indeed delighted by Shao Chen's appearance. However, they were even more shocked that Shao Chen's sword realm had broken through to the perfect sword realm. Dao Ju looked at Shao Chen and said excitedly, "Shao Chen, when did your sword realm break through to the perfect sword realm?" With a perfect sword realm, Shao Chen had the ability to contend with the evil spirit. At the very least, he wouldn't be like the evil spirits and the others, who couldn't fight back at all. Hearing Dao Ju's words, Shao Chen smiled and said, "I was lucky to break through recently. Alright, now's not the time to talk. Take Xiao Xiao back and take care of her. Leave the rest to me." Shao Chen gestured for Dao Ju and the others to go back first and leave the rest to him. Hearing Shao Chen's words, although Dao Ju and the others were unwilling, they knew that even if they stayed, they wouldn't be of much help. In fact, they might even drag Shao Chen down. Although they were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. Unknowingly, Shao Chen's strength had surpassed theirs. This made Dao Ju and the others feel bitter in their hearts. The three of them found it hard to accept that Shao Chen had suddenly widened the gap between them. However, since they wouldn't be of much help even if they stayed, Dao Ju and Li Chun didn't say anything else and left with Xiao Xiao. The evil spirits didn't stop the three of them from leaving. Although the evil spirits wanted to kill the three of them before, now that Shao Chen had appeared, the evil spirits immediately lost interest in the three of them. Perhaps in the eyes of the evil spirits, Dao Ju and the others weren't a threat at all. Although the three of them were monstrous geniuses in the great thousand world, the evil spirits had never taken them seriously. They could kill them whenever they wanted. On the contrary, Shao Chen had actually comprehended the perfect sword realm, which made the evil spirits somewhat interested. The evil spirits looked at Shao Chen with the same smile on their faces and said faintly, "Shao Chen, you really surprised me. The last time we met, your sword realm didn't seem to have broken through to the perfect sword realm, right?" Upon hearing the evil spirit's words, Shao Chen didn't hide anything and nodded. "Indeed, I was lucky enough to have a breakthrough in the past few days. The last time the two of them met in Mausoleum City, Shao Chen's sword realm had indeed not broken through to the perfect sword realm. It was also because he suddenly had an epiphany in the past few days that he successfully broke through. Even Shao Chen was surprised by the breakthrough in his sword realm. It was because it was a matter of course. He had a sudden epiphany, and the breakthrough was completed naturally. It could be considered a blessing in disguise. Although he was originally seriously injured, his sword realm had broken through to the perfect sword realm, which surprised Shao Chen. It was also because of the breakthrough in his sword realm that Shao Chen hurriedly rushed to Leaping Tiger City. He knew that the battle in Leaping Tiger City was difficult, and he also knew that Yin Xing was killed by the evil spirit. When he first heard the news of Yin Xing's death, Shao Chen was also extremely shocked. Apart from that, he was also wary of the evil spirit. The evil spirit's strength was indeed not to be underestimated since they were able to kill Yin Xing. The evil spirits didn't doubt Shao Chen's words, but at this time they also chuckled. "However, do you think that a mere perfect sword realm is enough to contend with me?" When they said this, the evil spirits appeared to be very confident. In response, Xiao Chen said faintly, "Let's try and you'll know." "Alright, then let's do it," the evil spirits said. Xiao Chen was now the only person in the Great Thousand World who could arouse the interest of the evil spirits. Even sovereigns like Dao Xiong and Luo Xing were not taken seriously by the evil spirits. In the eyes of the evil spirits, they had only lived for so many years, so they had absolute confidence in breaking through to the sovereign realm. They also believed that as long as they broke through to the sovereign realm, Dao Xiong, Luo Xing and the other sovereigns wouldn't be their opponents at all. Therefore, the evil spirits could be said to be arrogant, and only Xiao Chen could enter their eyes. Of course, with Xiao Chen's current strength, it was still not enough to attract the attention of the evil spirit. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Chen didn't answer this time. His figure disappeared from where he was, and the next moment, he appeared behind the evil spirit. The evil spirits didn't have any time to react. However, just as Xiao Chen stabbed out with his sword, the evil spirits also disappeared, and Xiao Chen's attack naturally missed. After using the boundary flash to dodge Xiao Chen's attack, the evil spirits appeared on Xiao Chen's left side and mercilessly counterattacked. At the same time, Xiao Chen also used the boundary flash to dodge perfectly. Both of them had complete sword realms, and in their respective sword realms, they were able to use the boundary flash. For a moment, Xiao Chen and the evil spirits disappeared into thin air, and then suddenly reappeared without a trace. Many people had probably never seen such a battle before. It was as if the entire space was filled with the figures of the two, but it also seemed as if they weren't even in this space at all. They kept dodging and moving, and neither of them hit the other. This battle seemed like a game, but in fact, Xiao Chen and the evil spirits were all tensed up. This was because even the slightest bit of carelessness could be seized by the other party, and they could be severely injured or even killed on the spot. Please add this to your collection. Monthly vote recommend this. Chapter 2379. Xiao Chen and the evil spirits were both at the small perfection end realm, but judging from their auras, it was obvious that the evil spirit's aura was thicker. After all, based on the time it took to break through to the small perfection end realm, the evil spirits had long broken through to the small perfection end realm and were only a step away from the great perfection end realm. On the other hand, Xiao Chen had just broken through. Xiao Chen and the evil spirits were both at the small perfection end realm, but judging from their auras, it was obvious that the evil spirit's aura was thicker. After all, based on the time it took to break through to the small perfection end realm, the evil spirits had long broken through to the great perfection end realm and were only a step away from the great perfection end realm. On the other hand, Xiao Chen had just broken through. So, at the start, although Xiao Chen and the evil spirits were evenly matched, to be honest, the evil spirits didn't use their full strength. After a period of intense battle, the evil spirits gradually understood Xiao Chen's strength. It exceeded their expectations, but it still wasn't enough. At the same time, as the battle continued, Xiao Chen felt more and more tired. The evil spirit's strength was still increasing, so Xiao Chen naturally found it harder and harder to deal with them. He already knew that the evil spirits were strong, but only after truly fighting with the evil spirits did Xiao Chen know that the evil spirits were actually so strong. Moreover, Xiao Chen's intuition told him that the evil spirits weren't really serious. This feeling made Xiao Chen feel a sense of helplessness, especially when the evil spirits were so young. This was the first time he was completely suppressed by someone of the same generation. Xiao Chen had an indescribable feeling. At the same time, in the intense battle, the evil spirits slowly opened their mouth. "You have indeed surprised me. However, this is not enough. Today's battle is actually completely meaningless because you are no match for me. Next, I will only use one sword strike. If you can take it, I will not kill you," said Yi Futian. As they spoke, the evil spirit's aura crazily increased. Compared to when they were fighting with Xiao Chen, they were like two different people. The evil spirit's aura continued to increase. Just the aura alone gave Xiao Chen huge pressure. They were both at the small perfection end realm, but the evil spirit's aura was much stronger than Xiao Chen's. It was hard to imagine that there would be such a huge difference in aura between the two at the same cultivation level. You're very surprised? There is nothing to be surprised about. On the martial path, the further you go, the bigger the gap between the same realm. Although you and I are both at the small perfection end realm, you just broke through. As for me, I have been in this realm for many years. Naturally, we can't be compared. Take one of my swords. As they spoke, the evil spirit's sword flew out of their hands. It directly pierced through the clouds and flew into the sky. Instantly, a terrifying pressure pressed down from the sky. It was as if the sky was about to fall. The terrifying pressure made Xiao Chen feel as if his body was several times heavier. However, before Xiao Chen could catch his breath, a huge sword slowly descended from the thick clouds above Xiao Chen's head. This was the evil spirit's final attack. After doing all this, the evil spirits didn't have any intention of staying. They calmly looked at Xiao Chen and said, "If you don't die, we will continue next time." As they spoke, the evil spirits turned around and left. This was a serious attack from the evil spirit. Although it couldn't be considered a killing move from the evil spirits, it was still extremely difficult for Xiao Chen to take it with his current strength. Of course, if Xiao Chen couldn't even take this attack, then the evil spirits had nothing to look forward to. After all, if he couldn't even take this attack, then Xiao Chen wasn't worthy of being their opponent. Thus, the evil spirits didn't have anything to look forward to. After the evil spirits left, Xiao Chen felt his hair stand on end as he faced the huge blood-red sword descending from the sky. Xiao Chen had only felt this kind of feeling from the venerable emperors. Could it be that the evil spirit's strength had already reached the venerable emperor realm? That's impossible. However, the current situation didn't allow Xiao Chen to think too much. The evil spirit's attack made Xiao Chen feel a strong aura of death. Not only Xiao Chen, but the others on the battlefield were also shocked by this attack. Dao Xiong, Tenzu, and the other venerable emperors also wanted to help at the first moment. After all, in their opinion, with Xiao Chen's strength, there was no way he could take this attack. Unfortunately, Tenzu's intention was quickly seen through by Yen Tong and the other evil sovereigns, who firmly held them back. The venerable emperors couldn't help Xiao Chen at all, and the others couldn't help him at all. If even Xiao Chen couldn't block this attack, then the others would only be courting death. Xiao Chen forced a bitter smile as he resisted the terrifying pressure emitted by the huge blood-red sword. "You're giving me such a big gift before you leave?" It had to be said that this big gift from the evil spirits really shocked Xiao Chen. However, after the battle with the evil spirits, Xiao Chen also had the thought of not admitting defeat in his heart. They were both of the younger generation, and both of them were at the small perfection end realm. Xiao Chen didn't believe that he couldn't catch up to the evil spirit. Immediately, a surge of fighting spirit rose from Xiao Chen's body. At the same time, he softly said, "Body into a sword." Along with his voice, countless sword qi crazily surrounded Xiao Chen. At this moment, Xiao Chen's entire body seemed to have turned into a sharp jian-yi. Moreover, with Xiao Chen as the center, a huge silvery white sword shadow slowly condensed. The huge silvery white sword firmly protected Xiao Chen. Although it was smaller than the blood-red sword, its power was equally terrifying. Facing this big gift from the evil spirits, Xiao Chen didn't underestimate it at all. On the contrary, he used all his strength in order to take on this attack from the evil spirit. Not only did his aura rise, but everyone looked at the two huge swords that were at odds with each other. As the blood-red sword continued to fall, Xiao Chen's eyes flashed with a hint of determination. Using his body as a sword, he directly charged towards the blood-red sword. The two huge swords fiercely collided, and the space instantly collapsed. A terrifying void storm raged wildly, and the entire space was instantly destroyed. It was like the end of the world. Facing such a head-on collision, the surrounding cultivators were all stunned. Who would have thought that Shao Chun and the evil spirits could actually explode with such power? With such combat strength, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that no one below the Emperor realm could match up to them. This is a battle between two End Realm experts? A Saber Sect Vice Sect leader said in shock. These two people are really too terrifying. Let's not talk about this first. Can Shao Chun block this sword? While everyone was shocked, they were also worried about Shao Chun. After all, from the current situation, Shao Chun was clearly at a disadvantage. After the blood-red sword and Shao Chun fiercely collided, it didn't stop and was still slowly falling. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2380. Terrifying shockwaves spread out wildly. Under such an intense collision, no one knew what Shao Chun's current situation was. Moreover, no one dared to casually get close to him. The power of Shao Chun and the Phantasm's attack was simply too terrifying. Even the End Realm experts felt a sense of dread when facing it. After a full 15 minutes, the shockwaves slowly dissipated. The two giant swords in the sky also shattered at the same time. Slowly, everyone saw Shao Chun's voice appear in the sky. He was in a very miserable state. His clothes were already dyed red with blood. His face was extremely pale and his aura was extremely weak. It could be seen that in the previous head-on collision, in order to block the evil spirit's sword, Shao Chun was indeed heavily injured. However, no matter what, Shao Chun finally blocked the evil spirit's sword. Although the result was a little miserable, at least Shao Chun succeeded. His vision blurred. Shao Chun only felt waves of intense pain coming from all over his body. Just as Shao Chun felt his body sway and was about to fall from the sky, a Moon Palace elder rushed over in time and supported Shao Chun's body. Sect Master Shao, are you all right? While supporting Shao Chun, the elder asked with concern. The battle just now had indeed made them gasp in amazement. The strength of Shao Chun and the evil spirits had indeed made everyone tremble in fear. Facing the Moon Palace elder's concern, Shao Chun nodded slightly and said with some difficulty, "I'm all right. There aren't any big problems." Although he said that there weren't any big problems, in reality, Shao Chun's injuries were already very serious. Blocking the evil spirit's sword head-on caused Shao Chun's injuries to be quite severe. If Shao Chun was sick, there was no need for him to block the evil spirit's sword head-on. However, in Shao Chun's opinion, facing the evil spirit's sword, he couldn't back down no matter what, because there was no reason to do so. Shao Chun wanted to catch up to the evil spirits and defeat the evil spirit. If he chose to back down, Shao Chun knew that he would probably never be able to catch up to the evil spirits in his lifetime. Shao Chun had his own pride. Therefore, facing the evil spirit's sword, Shao Chun didn't allow himself to back down. Sensing that Shao Chun's injuries were very serious, the Moon Palace elder didn't hesitate and immediately fed Shao Chun a healing elixir before leaving the battlefield with Shao Chun. Given Shao Chun's current condition, it was obviously not suitable for him to continue participating in the battle. Moreover, Shao Chun had successfully blocked the evil spirits in this battle, which was quite rare. Although the evil spirits had taken the initiative to leave, everyone could clearly see that if it wasn't for Shao Chun, Xiao Xiao, Dao Ju, and Li Chun would have been killed long ago. The evil spirits had once again displayed their powerful strength to the Great Thousand World, causing everyone in the Great Thousand World to be in a gloomy mood. At least in the face of the evil spirits, apart from the various sovereigns, no one in the Great Thousand World could be a match for the evil spirits. Only Shao Chun could predict and contend with them. Moreover, even Shao Chen didn't have the possibility of defeating the evil spirit. If the evil spirits hadn't taken the initiative to retreat, Shao Chen would probably have been killed on the spot. Shao Chen was escorted out of the battlefield by the Moon Palace Elder. In the following battle, due to the departure of the evil spirits, both sides once again fell into a tense situation. Of course, all of this had nothing to do with Shao Chen. Upon returning to the Moon Palace's encampment, Shao Chen immediately received medical treatment. The battle could be said to be full of twists and turns. The appearance of the evil spirits made the Great Thousand World unable to deal with them. Although the various sovereigns had the strength to deal with the evil spirits, the evil sovereign on the evil path side wouldn't give the Great Thousand World such an opportunity. In the final battle, both sides still chose to retreat, and the casualties were also very heavy. However, what made the Great Thousand World helpless was that they still couldn't successfully take down Leaping Tiger City. Compared to Mausoleum City, Leaping Tiger City seemed to be a more difficult bone to chew. It made the Great Thousand World feel as though they didn't know where to start. Shao Chen was seriously injured and unconscious. After the battle ended, the evil spirits, who had returned to Leaping Tiger City first, also heard that Shao Chen had successfully withstood their sword. The evil spirits sat indifferently in the courtyard. They didn't pay attention to the outcome of the battle, but Yang Chen, who was beside them, said regretfully, "It's really a pity. This time we could have defeated the Great Thousand World." Yang Chen indeed felt that it was a pity. If the evil spirits didn't leave and directly killed Shao Chen and the others, the evil path would definitely have won this battle. Moreover, the evil spirits also had the ability to do so. As long as the evil spirits wanted to, Xiao Xiao, Dao Ju, Li Chun, and Shao Chen probably wouldn't have been able to escape. However, the evil spirits let the four of them go. Upon hearing Yang Chen's words, the evil spirits said indifferently, "Why? Do you have a problem with my way of doing things?" Yang Chen could hear the complaint in Yang Chen's words. In response, Yang Chen was so frightened that he immediately bowed respectfully and said, "I don't dare." The longer Yang Chen stayed by the evil spirit's side, the more he understood the evil spirit's character. The evil spirit's character was definitely extremely arrogant, and they did things as they pleased. If the evil spirits didn't want to do something, even the evil sovereigns wouldn't be able to change it. For example, this time, the evil spirits let Shao Chen, Xiao Xiao, Li Chun, and Dao Ju go. This was indeed wrong because the evil spirits had the ability to kill the four of them, but they still let the four of them go. In the end, although the Great Thousand World gained a small advantage, it didn't affect the big picture. Imagine, if the evil spirits could kill Shao Chen and the other three, what would the final result be? Even if they couldn't defeat the Great Thousand World in one go, they would definitely be able to cause irreparable damage to the Great Thousand World. However, the evil spirits let Shao Chen and the other three go. Not only did Yang Chen feel helpless about this, but the evil sovereigns also felt helpless. But it was a pity that the evil spirits' character was like this. They did everything according to their own preferences, and no one could stop them. Upon seeing the terrified look on Yang Chen's face, the evil spirits didn't bother about him anymore. A faint glint of interest flashed in their eyes as they murmured softly, "Shao Chen, can you surprise me again next time?" The evil spirits didn't kill Shao Chen entirely because they felt that Shao Chen was the only one who was qualified to fight against them. Besides, Shao Chen had indeed surprised them this time. However, it was merely a surprise. Shao Chen was still far from catching up to them. Besides, the evil spirits wouldn't possibly remain stagnant. At this thought, the evil spirits said flatly, "I'm going to make a trip back to the evil god palace. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations." End of chapter. After all, to fight against an Emperor Realm expert was simply unimaginable. For so many years, No one had ever been able to fight against an Emperor realm expert. They were on two completely different levels. The evil sovereigns didn't have any intention of stopping them. Of course, even if they tried to stop them with the character of the evil spirits, they probably wouldn't care. As for the battle at Leaping Tiger City, the evil spirits didn't care about it at all. After all, from the current situation, the battle at Leaping Tiger City was probably going to enter a stalemate. Neither side could do anything to the other. Therefore, after saying goodbye to the evil sovereigns, the evil spirits directly left Leaping Tiger City. Of course, Yang Chen also left with them. After the evil spirits left Leaping Tiger City, on the other side, Xiao Chen was heavily injured. In the end, Dan Qingyang personally treated Xiao Chen. However, because Xiao Chen's injuries were too serious, although his life wasn't in danger, he still needed to rest for a period of time. His injuries had already completely stabilized, but Xiao Chen's body was still very weak. However, compared to his injuries, Xiao Chen's heart was very complicated. After the battle with the evil spirits, Xiao Chen was very clear about the gap between him and the evil spirit. If it wasn't for the fact that the evil spirits didn't have any killing intent towards him, he would probably be dead by now. Of course, it was the same for Xiao Xiao, Li Chun, and Dao Ju. It could be said that he was completely crushed by people of the same generation. This was something that Xiao Chen had never encountered before, and it also happened to stimulate the battle intent in Xiao Chen's heart. Whether it was for the overall situation or for himself, Xiao Chen felt that he had to defeat the evil spirit. Although there was still a large gap between his strength and the evil spirits, Xiao Chen didn't admit defeat and didn't feel discouraged because of this. He wanted to recover from his injuries as soon as possible so that he could think of ways to increase his strength. While Xiao Chen was recuperating in the Moon Palace's encampment, 5 days had passed in a row. On this day, Xiao Chen closed his eyes and recuperated in his room as usual. It was also at this time that Jun Wuya suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Chen. Previously, Jun Wuya didn't participate in the battle in Leaping Tiger City because Jun Wuya only had one task now, and that was to deal with the evil god Xietian. In the entire great wide world, only Jun Wuya could contend with Xietian. The other emperors weren't Xietian's match, so Jun Wuya's only task was to deal with Xietian. However, this time, Jun Wuya took the initiative to rush to Leaping Tiger City and directly came to the Moon Palace's encampment. Needless to say, his purpose was obviously for Xiao Chen. Seeing Jun Wuya come, Xiao Chen was slightly stunned, then he revealed a self-deprecating smile and said, "Master, I know about what happened in Leaping Tiger City. Did you fight with the evil spirits?" Hearing this, Jun Wuya sat down in front of Xiao Chen and said with a faint smile, "Yes, but I was defeated in the end." Hearing this, Xiao Chen said with a smile. Xiao Chen didn't intend to hide the fact that he was defeated by the evil spirit. Of course, there was no need to hide it at all. After all, a defeat was a defeat. His strength was inferior, so there was nothing to hide. It wasn't that Xiao Chen didn't have the courage to face defeat. Seeing that Xiao Chen straightforwardly admitted his defeat, Jun Wuya nodded with a smile and said, "The evil spirit's talent is not bad. It can be said that they are the number one person since ancient times. At least in the history of the great wide world, as far as I know, the talent and combat strength of the evil spirits are enough to be ranked in the top 3. Jun Wuya also acknowledged the strength of the evil spirit. They were indeed extremely talented people. If the great wide world's geniuses were the highest praise for the younger generation, then the evil spirits were probably above the great wide world's geniuses. After his voice fell, Jun Wuya looked at Xiao Chen with a faint smile and said indifferently, "This is the first time you've been defeated by someone of the same generation. How is it? Do you have any insights?" "I will win it back." Hearing this, Xiao Chen said in a firm tone. Seeing that Xiao Chen wasn't discouraged by this failure, Jun Wuya smiled and nodded. Yes, I'm here this time because of this matter. I've already discussed it with Tenzu. Under normal circumstances, Chernur, it will be very difficult for you to catch up with the evil spirits. After all, while you are improving, the evil spirits are also improving. Therefore, if you want to have the power to fight against the evil spirits, you will need some external help. There is only one place in the great wide world that has such a treasure, the spiritual energy spring. Please add it to your collection. Monthly vote recommend it. Chapter 2382. Spiritual Energy Spring. Upon hearing Jun Wuya's words, Xiao Chen's face revealed a hint of doubt, because he had never heard of the spiritual energy spring. Not only Xiao Chen, but probably not many people in the Great Thousand World had heard of the spiritual energy spring, except for the various sovereigns. Spiritual Energy Spring. Upon hearing Jun Wuya's words, Xiao Chen's face revealed a hint of doubt, because he had never heard of the spiritual energy spring. Not only Xiao Chen, but probably not many people in the Great Thousand World had heard of the spiritual energy spring, except for the various sovereigns. Seeing Xiao Chen's doubtful expression, Jun Wuya didn't keep him in suspense and said straightforwardly, "The spiritual energy spring is actually the source of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It is because of the existence of the spiritual energy spring that there is an endless supply of spiritual energy between heaven and earth." This spiritual energy spring had always been guarded by Tenzu, and even the various sovereigns had never entered it. This time, if it weren't for the evil spirits, Tenzu probably wouldn't have allowed Jun Wuya to let Xiao Chen enter it to cultivate. Xiao Chen looked at Jun Wuya with some surprise. He didn't expect Jun Wuya to come here to tell him this. However, this also made him happy, because from Jun Wuya's words, it seemed that this spiritual energy spring could increase his strength. Xiao Chen was immediately tempted. However, before Xiao Chen nodded, Jun Wuya continued, "Don't make a decision now. Don't make a decision yet. Although this spirit chi spring can greatly increase your strength, fortune and misfortune are interdependent. Going to the spirit chi spring is also very dangerous." According to Jun Wuya, the spiritual energy spring was the source of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. If Xiao Chen could cultivate in the spiritual energy spring, his strength would indeed be greatly improved. Not to mention other things, it wouldn't be difficult for Xiao Chen to break through to the great perfection end realm or even the peak of it in a short time. However, under the premise of having such a heaven-defying ability, the spiritual chi spring was also very dangerous. This danger was enough to be fatal. As the source of the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, the density of the spiritual chi in the spiritual chi spring could be said to be terrifying. Even Jun Wuya could not guarantee that Xiao Chen could withstand the spiritual chi in the spiritual chi spring. Once Xiao Chen was unable to withstand the dense spiritual chi of the spiritual chi spring, it was very likely that he would be devoured by the terrifying spiritual chi and die. Even sovereigns did not dare to enter the spirit chi spring to cultivate, let alone Xiao Chen. However, this was the only way for Xiao Chen to quickly improve his strength. As for other cultivation secret realms, they were no longer of much use to Xiao Chen. Moreover, there was an even more special place where the spirit chi spring was located, and that was the origin of laws. The place where the spirit chi spring was located was also the place where the laws of heaven and earth gathered. Entering there to cultivate was also very helpful to Xiao Chen's comprehension of the power of laws. However, at the same time, it was also extremely dangerous. Of course, if Xiao Chen could successfully comprehend the support of the laws, then he would be able to achieve the word of law. This would also lay the foundation for breaking through to the sovereign realm in the future. Xiao Chen did not know much about breaking through to the sovereign realm. After all, the previous Xiao Chen was still very far away from the sovereign realm, so Jun Wuya did not say much in this regard. However, Now that Xiao Chun had the cultivation of small perfection end realm and was going to head to the spirit chi spring to cultivate, there were some things that Jun Huia planned to tell Xiao Chun in advance so that Xiao Chun could be prepared. There was no need to talk about the increase in cultivation. However, to truly reach the sovereign realm, there was still the most crucial prerequisite, which was to comprehend the origin of laws and achieve the true word of law. As everyone knew, martial artists could comprehend many laws, such as the laws of fire, the laws of water, and so on. However, to break through to the sovereign realm, just comprehending the laws was not enough. One had to achieve the word of law. What was the word of law? It meant that all the laws of heaven and earth could be used by one. Once one spoke, all the laws of heaven and earth that existed in heaven and earth had to be used by one. This was the word of law. As he spoke, Jun Huia personally demonstrated for Xiao Chun. Jun Huia slowly opened his right hand. On his palm, there was first the law of fire, then it quickly changed into the law of water, the law of wind, the law of thunder, and so on. Simply put, the sovereign realm is no longer simply comprehending a certain type of law. Instead, one can use and control any law in heaven and earth at will, including the laws of time and space. This was the biggest difference between the sovereign realm and other martial artists. Martial artists below the sovereign realm might be able to comprehend many types of laws, or they might be able to comprehend a law to an extremely high level, but they definitely could not do it like the sovereign realm. Once one reached the sovereign realm, it was not about how many laws one had comprehended, but rather, all the laws of heaven and earth could be used by one. This was the truly terrifying part of the sovereign realm. However, it wasn't a simple matter to make one's words become law. The difficulty was so high that it couldn't be explained in a few words. It could even be said that to comprehend the word of law, this was no longer something that could be taught. One could only rely on one's own comprehension, and it also required a certain amount of luck. Without luck, one might not be able to reach this step in one's lifetime. This was also the reason why the number of sovereign realm experts in the Great Thousand World had always been very small. After hearing Jun Huia's words, Xiao Chun also gained a lot of understanding of the sovereign realm. This would also pave the way for Xiao Chun to break through to the sovereign realm in the future. After saying so much, Jun Huia finally looked at Xiao Chun and asked seriously, "Therefore, although the spiritual energy spring will be of great help to you, it is also very dangerous. Chun, there is even a high chance that you will die in it. Therefore, you have to think carefully before you go." The spiritual energy spring was a great opportunity for Xiao Chun, but at the same time, it was also a great danger. If it were any other time, Tenzu would definitely not agree to let Xiao Chun enter the spiritual energy spring to cultivate. Not to mention Xiao Chun, even sovereigns like them would not agree to it. This was because it was too dangerous to absorb spiritual energy from the spiritual energy spring previously. Secondly, it would also affect the spiritual energy in the world. To put it simply, if Xiao Chun cultivated in the spiritual energy spring, the spiritual energy in the world would naturally become thin because the spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring would be absorbed by Xiao Chun. This effect might last for decades. Although it did not seem long, it would have a huge impact on the cultivation environment of the world. It could be said that Tenzu was gambling again this time. Moreover, compared to this, in Tenzu's eyes, defeating the evil warriors was probably more important. This was because once they were defeated, not only would the spiritual energy spring be destroyed, but the entire world would be plunged into misery and suffering. For the people of the Great Thousand World, the evil spirits were now in existence that no one could deal with because no one could compete with the evil spirit. After hearing Jun Huia's words, Xiao Chun hesitated for a moment. However, it was only for a moment before Xiao Chun gave an answer. "Master, I've thought about it. I'll go. Begging for your collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations." End of chapter. Chapter 2383. Xiao Chen made his decision without much hesitation. Although Xiao Chen knew about the dangers of the spiritual energy spring from Jun Wuya's mouth, with danger came a great opportunity. A great opportunity that could raise his strength to a new level in a short period of time, so Xiao Chen was not willing to give up such a great opportunity. Not to mention, if he did not go to the spiritual energy spring, Xiao Chen would not be able to fight against the evil spirits, so Xiao Chen had no reason to refuse. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Jun Wuya did not seem too shocked because Xiao Chen's answer was already within Jun Wuya's expectations. With Jun Wuya's understanding of Xiao Chen would not choose to retreat because of this little danger, so Xiao Chen agreed to go to the spiritual energy spring. All of this was within Jun Wuya's expectations. Hearing Xiao Chen's answer, Jun Wuya slightly nodded and said, "Then you can rest at ease and recuperate. In 3 days, Master will come to pick you up." Xiao Chen's injuries had not healed yet, so going to the spiritual energy spring with injuries was not a wise thing to do. It could even be said to be very stupid. As soon as his voice fell, Jun Wuya gave Xiao Chen a healing pill. This healing pill was one of Jun Wuya's treasured healing pills. Its effects could be said to be terrifying. With the help of this healing pill, in addition to Xiao Chen's strong physical body, within 3 days, Xiao Chen's injuries would be completely healed. Following this, Jun Wuya gave some instructions to Xiao Chen, then he did not stay for long and quickly left. Xiao Chen was preparing to enter the spiritual energy spring, and on the other side, after the evil spirits returned to the evil god palace, they found their father Xie Tian. Seeing the evil spirits come, Xie Tian revealed a faint smile. "Ming-er wants to open the blood sacrifice array?" Xie Tian had already guessed the goal of the evil spirits returning to the evil god palace. The evil spirits definitely came to break through. Regarding this, the evil spirits did not hide it and directly nodded in response. Naturally, Xie Tian would not reject this. Moreover, the evil spirit's cultivation had already reached the peak of the End Realm, so breaking through to the End Realm was a matter of pushing the boat along with the current. The evil spirits might even break through to the evil sovereign realm. After all, phantasms had long since mastered the ability to cast spells with their words, and were ready to break through to the evil lord level. It could be imagined that if the evil spirits could break through to the evil sovereign realm, then their battle strength would be comparable to Xie Tian and Jun Wuya. In the same realm, the evil spirits had not met many people who could fight with them. Counting it, there was only Wu Di in the past. Even Xiao Chen was a bit lacking. This was also why, although the evil spirits cared about Xiao Chen, they had never treated him as a match. This was because the evil spirits could break through to the evil spirit realm, but Xiao Chen could not. Just based on this point, Xiao Chen was not their match. Xie Tian quickly ordered people to prepare the blood sacrifice array. Since the evil path took control of the heavenly palace, they had gathered quite a bit of blood energy. After all, there were quite a few cultivators in the heavenly palace, and now these cultivators had either been killed or joined the evil path. So, if the evil spirits wanted to break through, they did not need to worry about blood energy. They prepared to enter the blood sacrifice array to break through. Before this, the evil spirits still had a bit of hope for Xiao Chen, hoping that Xiao Chen could also improve. If those old fellows in the boundless world aren't fools, they should think of a way to increase Xiao Chen's strength. I hope they won't disappoint me. With this thought in mind, Phantasm directly entered secluded cultivation. He hoped that Xiao Chen's strength would also improve after he came out of secluded cultivation. Otherwise, Phantasm reckoned that he would no longer have any expectations for Xiao Chen. The boundless world did not know about the evil spirits' matters. Moreover, because the evil spirits had left, the battle in Leaping Tiger City had entered a stalemate. Many experts from both sides had gathered in Leaping Tiger City, and there were countless large and small battles, but no victory had been decided in the end. It could even be said that no one had gained an advantage. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Jun Wuya and Tenzu personally came to find Xiao Chen. Seeing that Xiao Chen's injuries had already healed, Jun Wuya softly said, "Are you ready?" Hearing this, Xiao Chen replied with a nod. Seeing that Xiao Chen was ready, Jun Wuya and Tenzu directly brought Xiao Chen out of the Moon Palace's encampment. The spiritual energy spring was not in the Great Thousand World, but in Tenzu's residence on a small island that was isolated from the rest of the world. This small island was where Tenzu had always lived. It was surrounded by void storms, and without the protection of an emperor, no one could reach it. This time, Tenzu and Jun Wuya personally escorted Xiao Chen to the spiritual energy spring. They did not encounter any danger along the way, and the three of them smoothly arrived at Tenzu's residence. Unlike the Great Thousand Realms, the place where the heavenly ancestor lived was still peaceful and tranquil. The people there were still repeating their daily lives. Looking at the small island in front of him, Xiao Chen felt like he had returned to his original state. The people here did not know what cultivation was and still maintained the most primitive way of life. Perhaps they did not know that there was a bigger world beyond this small island. "Let's go to the spiritual energy spring," Tenzu said directly at this time. Then, under the lead of the Sky Clan, the group came to the peak of a mountain. As they approached the peak, Xiao Chen could already feel that the spiritual energy was becoming more and more violent. At this time, Jun Wuya did not use his own spiritual energy to protect Xiao Chen. Instead, he let Xiao Chen feel the spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring himself. The spiritual energy spring was on the peak of this mountain. At this time, there was still a long distance between them, but the violent spiritual energy in the surroundings was already making Xiao Chen unable to hold on. This was the first time Xiao Chen had seen such violent spiritual energy. Moreover, in addition to the violent spiritual energy, there was also a trace of the strange power of law, which shocked Xiao Chen. The spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring is 100 times stronger than here. If you want to successfully cultivate in the spiritual energy spring, you have to withstand the violent spiritual energy. This process will be very painful. When they reached a place not far from the peak, Jun Wuya and Tenzu stopped at the same time and looked at Xiao Chen as they spoke. They could only send Xiao Chen up to this point. After that, they could only rely on Xiao Chen alone. After all, if Jun Wuya and Tenzu were to protect Xiao Chen throughout the process, it would not be of any help to Xiao Chen's cultivation. On the contrary, it would be harmful. Whether or not they could successfully reach the spiritual energy spring depended on whether or not Xiao Chen could withstand the violent spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring. If he could not withstand it, then as Jun Wuya said, not only would he not gain any benefits, but his life would also be in danger. Please add, please vote, please recommend. Chapter 2384. Jun Wuya and Tenzu could only send Xiao Chen here. This place was already very close to the spiritual energy spring. If Jun Wuya and Tenzu continued to move forward, it would cause the spiritual energy spring to go berserk. This would not benefit Xiao Chen at all. It might even cause Xiao Chen to be unable to refine the spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring. This spiritual energy spring actually had a trace of its own consciousness. Although it was very weak, it knew how to protect itself. Therefore, if Xiao Chen went alone, the spiritual energy spring would not go berserk. However, if Jun Wuya and Tenzu went together, the spiritual energy spring would instinctively feel threatened and become even more berserk. Therefore, Jun Wuya and Tenzu stopped here. Next, they could only rely on Xiao Chen. After hearing Jun Wuya's words, Xiao Chen nodded. After all, Xiao Chen had already mentally prepared himself before coming here. He knew that Jun Wuya and Tenzu would not always help him. How much benefit Xiao Chen could obtain from the spiritual energy spring this time would depend on himself. Xiao Chen nodded to Jun Weiyao and Tenzu and then walked towards the spiritual energy spring. Looking at Xiao Chen's back, Jun Weiyao and Tenzu's expressions became extremely solemn. To be honest, the two of them were not sure if Xiao Chen could succeed. Although the spiritual energy spring was a peerless opportunity for anyone, it was also extremely dangerous. If Xiao Chen was unable to withstand the raging spirit qi, there was a possibility that he would die, not to mention that there would be no chance for him to gain anything. Step by step, Xiao Chen walked in the air. As he got closer to the spiritual energy spring, he could clearly feel that the spiritual energy around him was becoming more berserk. The spiritual qi, which was supposed to be gentle, was now as sharp as swords. Even Xiao Chen's own sword qi was probably slightly inferior. In the face of such violent world energy, Xiao Chen could only grit his teeth and endure. There was no other way. According to Jun Weiyao, if Xiao Chen wanted to succeed, the first step was to reach the spirit energy spring safely. If he couldn't even get close to the spirit energy spring, then it would be impossible for Xiao Chen to refine the rich spirit energy in the spirit energy spring. Therefore, even though every step was extremely difficult, Xiao Chen did not give up at all. He still forced himself to move forward. In the beginning, Xiao Chen's speed was not bad. However, as he got closer and closer to the spirit spring, Xiao Chen's speed slowed down. Every step he took was extremely difficult. Moreover, there were many wounds on his body, and blood continuously flowed out. He was still about 1,000 meters away from the spirit energy spring. This distance was actually just a step for Xiao Chen. However, this short distance of 1,000 meters was like a huge mountain, blocking Xiao Chen's footstep. Every step he took was a huge consumption for Xiao Chen. Moreover, in the face of the berserk spiritual energy, Xiao Chen's own spiritual energy was completely useless. In other words, Xiao Chen could only use his physical body to resist the berserk spiritual energy. Xiao Chen could only rely on his physical strength to resist the spiritual qi, which undoubtedly increased the difficulty for him. After all, no matter how strong his physical body was, there was always a limit. Once this limit was exceeded, he was bound to be seriously injured, which was unavoidable. 1,000 meters, 900 meters. As Xiao Chen continued to move forward, he could clearly feel that Xiao Chen's physical body was constantly reaching its limit. When Xiao Chen reached 800 meters, his physical body had indeed reached its limit. It was already difficult to resist the berserk spiritual energy around him. Xiao Chen even couldn't help but feel that if he took another step forward, he would be torn into pieces. Xiao Chen didn't like this feeling. However, at this moment, it was so clear that it didn't seem fake at all. Give up? Or go all out? Xiao Chen was now faced with a difficult choice. His physical body had completely reached its limit. As a result, it was difficult to guess what the result would be if he continued to move forward. Even Xiao Chen himself didn't know. Various emotions constantly flashed through Xiao Chen's eyes, but in the end, a look of determination gradually appeared in his eyes. Since he was already here, how could he shrink back now? With Xiao Chen's character, he would never allow himself to shrink back at such a time. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen clenched his fists and took a step forward. It was also with this step that the spiritual energy around Xiao Chen's body instantly broke through the critical point of his physical body. In an instant, an intense pain swept through Xiao Chen's entire body. The pain was heart-wrenching. After stepping into the celestial body stage with the tempered battle body, Xiao Chen couldn't remember how long it had been since he had experienced such pain. Of course, if it was just such intense pain, Xiao Chen could grit his teeth and endure it. However, along with the intense pain that swept through his entire body, Xiao Chen could clearly feel that his physical body was about to collapse. The violent spiritual energy around him had completely exceeded the limits of his physical body. As a result, Xiao Chen's physical body was already unable to withstand the spiritual energy. If he didn't retreat in time, he would probably be forcefully torn apart. Life and death were on the line. However, at this moment, Xiao Chun went completely crazy. Whether or not he could catch up to the evil spirits was Xiao Chen's only chance. If he couldn't succeed, Xiao Chun probably wouldn't be able to catch up to the evil spirits in a short period of time. Not to mention, the evil spirits had already entered the blood sacrifice formation and were preparing to break through. When the time came for them to break through to the end realm, Xiao Chun wouldn't be able to match up to them. Therefore, no matter what, he could only succeed. Thinking of this, Xiao Chun gritted his teeth and took a step forward with his other foot. Instantly, the violent spiritual energy caused Xiao Chun to spit out a mouthful of blood. The huge pressure and the spiritual energy that was as sharp as a blade seemed like it was going to tear Xiao Chen's body apart. Forcefully holding on to his last bit of consciousness, Xiao Chen gritted his teeth and persevered. However, under the assault of the violent spiritual energy, Xiao Chen gradually felt that his physical body was continuously becoming stronger. The violent spiritual energy could actually help him refine his physical body. Feeling this, although Xiao Chen was still in so much pain that he wished he was dead, he couldn't help but feel a trace of joy in his heart. There was always a way out. The improvement of his physical body allowed Xiao Chen to see a glimmer of hope. Although the speed of improvement was very slow, at least as his physical body continued to improve and strengthen, the pain that Xiao Chen had to endure also decreased slightly. Although this feeling was very subtle, Xiao Chen knew that this was his only chance. As long as his physical body could continue to become stronger, then he had hope of resisting this violent spiritual energy. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2385. Under the tempering of the violent spiritual energy, his physical body continued to improve. This discovery made Xiao Chen overjoyed. After all, as long as his physical body could improve, there was still hope for him. Xiao Chen endured the intense pain coming from his body. In fact, he did not need to take the initiative to cultivate his physical body. He only needed to endure the pain of being a cripple. The spiritual energy in the surroundings was still extremely violent. At the same time, Xiao Chen's physical body was also constantly strengthening. He was not in a hurry to continue moving forward. This was because although Xiao Chen's physical body was constantly improving, all of this still needed a process. With the current strength of Xiao Chen's physical body, it was still difficult to continue to withstand the attack of stronger spiritual energy. His physical body was strengthening, and Xiao Chen was also delighted to feel that his tempered battle body had begun to stir. The tempered battle body was a body-tempering cultivation technique that Xiao Chen had obtained from the beginning. All along, the reason why Xiao Chen's physical body was so strong was all thanks to the tempered battle body. Even in the Great Thousand World, the tempered battle body was the strongest body-tempering cultivation technique that Xiao Chen knew. At the very least, Xiao Chen had never seen a body-tempering cultivation technique that surpassed the tempered battle body. It was no exaggeration to say that the tempered battle body was indeed very strong. However, it was also very difficult to cultivate. Even though Xiao Chen was the sect master of the sword sect, after so many years, after consuming countless treasures, Xiao Chen's tempered battle body had only reached the peak of the third level of the celestial body realm. The tempered battle body was divided into a total of 4 levels. From the beginning, the golden armor realm, to the later levels, the jade organs realm and the celestial body realm. With every breakthrough, Xiao Chen's physical strength would undergo a qualitative leap. Unfortunately, after so many years, Xiao Chen still had no way to break through the 4th level of the undying realm. No matter how hard Xiao Chen tried, he did not succeed. In the end, the tempered battle body could be said to be almost motionless. There was no progress at all. But even so, Xiao Chen's physical strength was not inferior to any warrior of the same level with his tempered battle body in the celestial realm. Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel ecstatic when he sensed the tempered battle body becoming restless again. If he could break through the fourth stage of the imperishable realm, then Xiao Chen's physical attacks would be much stronger than they were now. Xiao Chen didn't expect the spiritual qi spring to have the effect of tempering the body. It even seemed to be able to help him improve the cultivation of his tempered battle body. This was something that Xiao Chen hadn't expected. Enduring the intense pain in his body, Xiao Chen was no longer in a hurry. He waited for his physical body to improve. After completely adapting to the current violent spiritual energy, Xiao Chen continued to move forward. In this way, Xiao Chen used the violent spiritual energy to temper his body while secretly feeling the changes in his tempered battle body. As a result, although Xiao Chen's speed became extremely slow, it was still a daunting experience. He walked step by step towards the spiritual qi spring. In the distance, although Jun Wuya and Tenzu didn't help Xiao Chen, they didn't leave either. Seeing that Xiao Chen's speed began to become abnormally slow when he was still a few hundred meters away from the spiritual qi spring, a hint of worry flashed in their eyes. It was obvious that Xiao Chen had now reached his limit. Facing the violent spiritual energy around him, Xiao Chen was indeed a little difficult to resist. But even so, Jun Wuya and Tenzu couldn't do anything. Once they did, Xiao Chen's previous efforts would be in vain. At first, they thought that Xiao Chen couldn't hold on any longer, but later, seeing that although Xiao Chen's progress was slow, at least he was still moving forward, the two of them couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Gradually, Tenzu also noticed that Xiao Chen's physical strength had changed. A hint of joy flashed in his eyes. This kid's physical body, with Tenzu's eyesight, it wasn't difficult for him to see that Xiao Chen's physical body had made great progress under the tempering of the violent spiritual energy in the spiritual qi spring. Compared to before, Xiao Chen's physical body was indeed much stronger. With the improvement of his physical body, Xiao Chen was also constantly breaking through his limits and getting closer and closer to the spiritual qi spring. Jun Wuya and Tenzu didn't expect that Xiao Chen would use the spiritual qi spring to temper his physical body. Moreover, it seemed that Xiao Chen had succeeded. For a moment, a glimmer of hope appeared in their eyes. It seemed that Xiao Chen could succeed. While the two of them were thinking about this, Xiao Chen had already arrived less than 100 meters away from the spiritual qi spring. From here, Xiao Chen could clearly see the spiritual qi spring. However, Xiao Chen had a feeling that it was difficult to make any further progress within this short distance of 100 meters. This was because the enhancement of his physical body seemed to have reached a bottleneck at this time, and he could not continue to improve at all. It was like a water tank that was already full of water. If you wanted to continue filling the tank, you would have to change to a bigger tank. Xiao Chen felt a little helpless that the improvement of his physical body had reached a bottleneck. Although his physical body had indeed improved a lot along the way, it was still not enough. He was only 100 meters away from reaching the spiritual qi spring, but his physical body had reached a bottleneck at this time. Just as Xiao Chen was at his wit's end, the tempered battle body suddenly became violent. The tempered battle body that had reached the limit of the third layer suddenly felt like it was about to break through. The tempered battle body was about to break through? Xiao Chen was overjoyed when he sensed that. If he was able to make a breakthrough in his tempered body, then his physical body would definitely be able to make a qualitative leap. By then, it would be easy for him to deal with the raging spirit qi around him. Xiao Chen allowed the violent spiritual qi around him to constantly invade his body. With the invasion of the violent spiritual qi, Xiao Chen could clearly feel that the tempered battle body had reached the critical point of a breakthrough. He wasn't in a hurry. Instead, he waited for everything to fall into place. After an unknown amount of time, Xiao Chen finally seemed to break through something in his body. At this moment, the tempered battle body finally entered the fourth layer of the indestructible realm. After the successful breakthrough, Xiao Qin only felt as if there was an endless amount of power in his body. Moreover, the previous injuries were quickly healed with the breakthrough of the tempered battle body. The wounds quickly disappeared, and the pressure from the violent spiritual qi around him also began to weaken rapidly. As if he was no longer afraid of the violent spiritual qi, Xiao Qin clenched his fists tightly. He couldn't help but smile. Is this the fourth layer of the indestructible realm? After so many years, I finally succeeded. He was overjoyed and murmured softly. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. End of chapter. Chapter 2386. Xiao Chen's tempered battle body had finally broken through to the fourth level of the indestructible realm. According to the tempered battle body, once one stepped into the indestructible realm, one's physical body would be almost immortal. Xiao Chen's tempered battle body had finally broken through to the fourth level of the indestructible realm. According to the tempered battle body, once one stepped into the indestructible realm, one's physical body would be almost immortal. Not to mention regrowing a severed limb, even if only a drop of blood was left, it would be enough to reconstruct a physical body. Of course, if that really happened, it would be extremely difficult and time-consuming to reconstruct a physical body. Even so, it was already terrifying enough. After all, Xiao Chen had never seen a body-refining technique that could regenerate from a drop of blood, other than the 100-tempered battle body, which could do this. Moreover, after Xiao Chen had broken through to the fourth level of the indestructible realm, his physical body had also undergone a qualitative leap. The violent spiritual qi that was originally difficult to resist was now nothing to Xiao Chen. The pressure instantly reduced. Although he could not ignore the violent spiritual qi, at least it was not too difficult to contend with it. Immediately, Xiao Chen took a step forward and walked directly toward the spiritual energy spring. With the tempered battle body at the fourth level of the indestructible realm, Xiao Chen was completely unafraid of the violent spiritual qi around him. In the distance, Jun Wuya and Tenzu looked at each other and saw a hint of joy in each other's eyes when they saw Xiao Chen walking directly toward the spiritual energy spring at a steady pace. With their eyesight, it was not difficult for them to see that Xiao Chen's physical body had obviously broken through. With the physical body after the breakthrough, Xiao Chen should have no problem entering the spiritual energy spring. Although this was only the first step, it was a good start no matter what. Let's go, we should also return to the Great Thousand World. This kid will probably take some time to come out of seclusion. After the surprise, Jun Wuya spoke first. Xiao Chen had successfully entered the spiritual energy spring, so it was meaningless for Jun Wuya and Tenzu to stay here. Everything would depend on Xiao Chen's ability. Moreover, the war in the Great Thousand World was not over yet, and the Battle of Leaping Tiger City was in a stalemate. Jun Wuya and Tenzu naturally could not stay here for long. After hearing Jun Wuya's words, Tenzu did not say anything. He nodded and left with Jun Wuya. Xiao Chen did not know that Jun Wuya and Tenzu had left. At this time, he had successfully entered the spiritual energy spring. There seemed to be a natural barrier around the spiritual energy spring. Outside the barrier, there was violent spiritual energy of heaven and earth that was difficult to resist like a knife. However, after successfully entering the spiritual energy spring, the violent spiritual energy instantly disappeared. It was completely different from the outside world. Looking at the spiritual energy spring in front of him, Xiao Chen felt the indescribable spiritual energy of heaven and earth around him. In this place, Xiao Chen seemed to only need to take a breath to improve his cultivation. There was no need for him to deliberately cultivate at all. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the spiritual energy spring was so rich that no one knew how to describe it. Just by standing there and doing nothing, Xiao Chen felt that his cultivation had improved. Looking at the bottomless spring in front of him, Xiao Chen could not help but jump in directly. This was the spiritual energy spring. Moreover, Xiao Chen was sure that the spiritual energy in the spring was even richer. It was far from being comparable to the spiritual energy spring outside. However, Xiao Chen suppressed the excitement in his heart because Jun Wuya had specifically reminded him that the spiritual energy spring was not a place that could be entered casually. With Xiao Chen's current cultivation, entering the spiritual energy spring was simply courting death. Therefore, Jun Wuya had warned Xiao Chen not to be impulsive and enter the spiritual energy spring directly. He would first cultivate outside the spring and make plans after his cultivation had broken through. He clearly remembered Jun Wuya's reminder, which was why Xiao Chen suppressed the excitement in his heart. He sat cross-legged beside the spiritual energy spring and started to cultivate. Even if he did not enter the spiritual energy spring, Xiao Chen could not help but feel delighted just by cultivating outside. The thick spiritual energy made Xiao Chen delighted. Compared to the spiritual energy spring, the other cultivation secret realms could be said to be trash. They could not be compared to the spiritual energy spring at all. He had just broken through to the small end realm. Under the thick spiritual energy in the spiritual energy spring, there was movement and he started to head towards the end realm. Such thick spiritual energy, and it was also extremely pure. Xiao Chen did not even need to refine it and could directly absorb it and turn it into his own spiritual energy. His level of training was increasing at a frightening rate. It was the first time Xiao Chen had ever experienced such a rate of increase. It was something he had never experienced before. Even Xiao Chen could not help but feel that cultivation was actually so simple. Indeed, cultivating in the spiritual energy spring made everything so simple. There was no need to worry at all. Xiao Chen was even sure that even if it was a pig, if you let it live around the spiritual energy spring for a long time, it would become a top monster. Thick and pure spiritual energy continuously entered Xiao Chen's body. Xiao Chen did not reject this spiritual energy. However, while Xiao Chen was cultivating, he did not notice that because he was crazily absorbing the spiritual energy around him, the spiritual energy spring was slowly weakening. This was the problem that Jun Wuya had mentioned before. Xiao Chen was training in the spirit qi spring. To put it simply, it was akin to cutting off the spirit qi spring. Although it was impossible for Xiao Chen to absorb all of the spiritual energy spring's spiritual energy with his cultivation, it was not a problem for him to absorb a part of it. Since this part of the spiritual energy was absorbed by Xiao Chen, it naturally led to the spiritual energy spring providing less spiritual energy to the world. If this spread out, the spiritual energy spring in the great wide world would become thinner and thinner. This was what Jun Wuya and Tenzu had expected, but they had no choice. In order to let Xiao Chen have the strength to contend with the evil spirits, they could only do this. A month quickly passed. During this month, the battle between the two sides around Leaping Tiger City did not seem to have any intention of stopping. From time to time, a big battle would break out, and small-scale conflicts could be seen at any time. However, after a month of fighting, everyone felt that there was a problem, and that was that the heaven and earth spirit qi seemed to have become thinner. Although the change was not too obvious, as cultivators, they were very sensitive to the changes in the spiritual energy spring in the world. Some people could not help but feel worried that the spiritual energy spring in the world was becoming thinner. However, the venerable sovereigns knew the reason, and they guessed that it was because of Xiao Chen. Therefore, the venerable sovereigns did not care too much about it. Of course, they did not tell the others about it either. They just told them not to worry. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 2387. The decrease in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had indeed made many people worried, but they were only slightly worried. After all, the most important issue in front of them now was the battle between the good and evil. The decrease in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had indeed made many people worried, but they were only slightly worried. After all, the most important issue in front of them now was the battle between the good and evil. Compared to the change in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, the battle between the good and evil was obviously more important. Once they were defeated, they might not even be able to survive, let alone the change in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Therefore, the change in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was quickly ignored by everyone, and they continued to focus on the battle in Leaping Tiger City. After another big battle, it was still difficult to determine the winner. However, as the casualties on both sides became more and more serious, both the Evil Path and the Great Thousand World constantly mobilized more powerhouses to Leaping Tiger City. There was no other way, as Leaping Tiger City would definitely not give in. Regardless of whether it was the Evil Path or the Great Thousand World, Leaping Tiger City was too important, and they would not give in at all. After the battle ended, Dao Ju, Xiao Xiao, Li Chun, and the other geniuses gathered together to chat while recuperating from their injuries. Without the abnormal evil spirits, Dao Ju and the others would not be in any danger. Although they were injured, their injuries were not serious. At the thought of the evil spirits, Dao Ju and the others felt powerless. Only God knew how the evil spirits could be in the evil path. With their strength, even Dao Ju and the others could not help but admit defeat. Previously, Dao Ju, Xiao Xiao, and Li Chun were almost killed by the evil spirit. If Xiao Chun had not arrived in time, the three of them would have been killed by the evil spirit. Fortunately, the evil spirits did not seem to be in Leaping Tiger City during this period. This was because it had been almost 3 months, and the evil spirits did not appear. This allowed Dao Ju and the others to heave a sigh of relief. Since the evil spirits were not around, Xiao Chun had also gone to the spiritual energy spring to cultivate. Dao Ju and the others naturally knew that Xiao Chun had gone to the spiritual energy spring. After all, as geniuses, they definitely knew many secrets that others did not know. They also knew very well that the reason why Tenzu agreed to let Xiao Chun go to the spiritual energy spring to cultivate was so that Xiao Chun would have the strength to contend with the evil spirits. After all, based on the current situation in the Great Thousand World, only Xiao Chun had the potential to grow to the point where he could rival the evil spirits. It could be said that Tenzu had placed all his bets on Xiao Chun. If Xiao Chun did not succeed, the evil spirits would definitely be a headache for the Great Thousand World. This was because until now, no one else could stop the evil spirit. Even Dao Ju and the other two were not a match for the evil spirits, let alone others. It's already been 3 months. I wonder how Brother Xiao Chun is doing now. Dao Ju sighed helplessly. Unknowingly, the gap between them had been widened by Xiao Chun. Dao Ju was naturally a little unwilling, but this was the truth. There was nothing he could do about it. Moreover, Xiao Chun was now the only hope of the Great Thousand World. Therefore, even though Dao Ju was unwilling, he sincerely hoped that Xiao Chun could succeed. Upon hearing Dao Ju's words, Li Chun also sighed. No matter what, Brother Xiao Chun's strength has now surpassed ours. All we can do is hope that Brother Xiao Chun can succeed. Li Chun was very clear about the battle between Xiao Chun and the evil spirit. Although they were geniuses, they couldn't interfere. The strength of Xiao Chun and the evil spirits had long surpassed theirs. It wasn't something they could fight against. There was no news from Xiao Chun's side, and it was the same for the evil spirits. However, at this moment, within the blood sacrifice formation in the evil god palace, the evil spirits were sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed. The aura they emitted was much stronger than 3 months ago. They had already reached the limit of the end realm. After 3 months of cultivation, the evil spirits had broken through to the end realm. However, this wasn't strange. After all, with the foundation of the evil spirits, it wasn't difficult for them to break through to the end realm. It could even be said that it was very simple. Of course, Phantasm's goal wasn't as simple as breaking through to the peak of the end realm. With the help of his rich blood chi, Phantasm's cultivation base had reached the peak of the end realm within 3 months. They were only a step away from the Emperor realm. Looking at the current state of the evil spirits, it was obvious that they were planning to break through to the Emperor realm and become the Evil Lord. To break through to the Evil Lord in one go, one had to say that the choice of the evil spirits was indeed shocking. Breaking through to the end realm wasn't difficult for the evil spirit. However, to break through to the Evil Lord, it wasn't so simple. Even if the evil spirits were heaven-defying, it wasn't so easy to become the Evil Lord. Moreover, this time, the evil spirits wanted to break through 2 realms, one of which was a large realm. The difficulty of this was self-evident. However, this was what the evil spirits were planning. After completely stabilizing their end realm cultivation, the evil spirits directly started to break through to the Evil Lord position without any hesitation. The evil spirits never doubted themselves, nor did they look down on themselves. As the evil spirits started to try to break through to the Evil Lord position, the blood energy in the surroundings also continuously gathered towards the evil spirit. All of a sudden, the evil spirits were surrounded by a dense blood energy. Time passed bit by bit and another month passed. It had been a total of 4 months since the evil spirits went into seclusion. During these 4 months, Yang Chen naturally stayed in the Evil God Palace. He was originally a member of the evil spirit. Since the evil spirits were in seclusion, Yang Chen could only wait in the Evil God Palace. In 4 months, the evil spirits didn't show any signs of coming out of seclusion. Yang Chen couldn't help but feel worried. According to his understanding of the evil spirits didn't need such a long time to break through to the end realm. They should have broken through long ago. In the Phantasm's residence, Yang Chen was cultivating in the courtyard as usual. Every now and then, he would glance in the direction of the blood sacrifice grand formation and let out a sigh. There shouldn't be any mishaps, right? Yang Chen was worried that something might have happened to the evil spirit. However, he felt that it was impossible. Breaking through to the end realm wouldn't cause any accidents to happen to the evil spirit. Just as Yang Chen finished speaking, the direction of the blood sacrifice formation suddenly changed. The blood energy that filled the sky started to slowly dissipate. The dissipation of the blood energy was the limit of the blood sacrifice formation. Once the blood sacrifice formation closed, it meant that the evil spirits were about to come out. Yang Chen didn't dare to delay. With a flash, he quickly arrived outside the blood sacrifice formation. Looking at the dissipating blood energy, Yang Chen waited patiently. In 4 months, the evil spirits came out of seclusion. Yang Chen didn't know how strong the evil spirits were now. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 2388. The blood aura slowly dissipated, and under Yang Chen's gaze, the evil spirits slowly walked out of the blood sacrifice formation. The evil spirits did not change much after 4 months, but in Yang Chen's eyes, the evil spirits now had a different aura. Of course, Yang Chen also secretly sensed the evil spirit's current cultivation base, but to his surprise, he found that he had no way of accurately sensing the evil spirit's current cultivation base. In 4 months, Yang Chen simply did not know what cultivation base the evil spirits had reached. Regarding this, Yang Chen was shocked. Looking at Yang Chen, who was already waiting outside the blood sacrifice formation, the evil spirits were not surprised, and said indifferently, "How is it? Did anything happen recently?" After 4 months of seclusion, the evil spirits naturally did not know anything about the outside world. Regarding this, Yang Chun did not hide anything and truthfully told the evil spirits everything that had happened in the past 4 months. In fact, nothing much had happened in the past 4 months. The battle in Leaping Tiger City was still undecided, and the evil path and the Great Thousand World were still locked in a fierce battle. It could be said that the focus of the battle was still in Leaping Tiger City, and nothing had changed. The only strange thing was the change in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. While listening to Yang Chen's narration, the two evil spirits slowly walked toward their residence. After finishing, the evil spirits nodded slightly, and Yang Chen could not help but ask, "Xiezi, your current cultivation base?" Yang Chen could not see through the evil spirit's current cultivation base, so he couldn't help but ask curiously. In response, the evil spirits smiled and said, "I almost broke through to the evil lord level, but unfortunately, I failed." In response to Yang Chen's question, the evil spirits did not hide anything. Currently, their cultivation base was indeed at the half-step evil lord level. Originally, the evil spirits intended to break through to the evil lord level, but unfortunately, they failed. The evil spirits had underestimated the difficulty of breaking through to the evil dominator realm. They had thought that with their foundation and talent, it would not be difficult to break through to the evil dominator realm. Who would have thought that they would fail in the end? However, although they failed, the evil spirits were already 1 foot out of the end realm and could be considered half a step into the evil sovereign realm. Moreover, with the evil spirits' heaven-defying battle strength and the half-step evil sovereign's cultivation, they could probably fight a real evil sovereign for a while. Victory might not be certain, but they would at least have the ability to protect themselves. Hearing the evil spirit's words, Yang Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that the evil spirits had already reached half-step evil spirit. They were both from the younger generation, but the evil spirits were already on the verge of becoming evil spirit. This kind of cultivation speed shocked Yang Chen. This time, the evil spirits went into seclusion to cultivate. Yang Chen thought that the evil spirits were only trying to break through to the end realm, but who would have thought that the evil spirits would reach half-step evil sovereign realm in one go? With half-step evil sovereign realm cultivation, the evil spirits could be said to not fear the evil sovereigns and emperors. Even if they couldn't beat them, they could at least protect themselves. Looking at the entire world, there was probably only Junwuya who could threaten the evil spirit. Following beside the evil spirits, Yang Chen did not speak for a long time. His heart was filled with incomparable shock. Regarding this, the evil spirits did not say anything. The half-step evil sovereigns did not make the evil spirits feel proud. They could not even break through to the evil sovereign realm. This made the evil spirits feel helpless in their hearts. Returning to their residence, the evil spirits rested for a day. The next morning, they were summoned by Xietian. They brought Yang Chen to Xietian's cave and saw that Xietian was already sitting in the courtyard waiting for them. The evil spirits and Yang Chen respectfully bowed. "Father! Sir Evil God!" Seeing the two of them come over, Xietian revealed a faint smile. He waved his hand at the evil spirits and signaled for the evil spirits to sit beside him. In response, the evil spirits also sat beside Xietian. Seeing the evil spirits in closed-door cultivation for 4 months, Xietian nodded with a faint smile. Although the evil spirits had not broken through to the evil sovereign realm, their current strength had increased by leaps and bounds compared to 4 months ago. They could not be compared at all. With a smile on his face, Xietian softly said, "Ming-er, the war in Leaping Tiger City has lasted for half a year, it's time to end it." After the evil spirits came out of closed-door cultivation, Xietian wanted the evil spirits to head to Leaping Tiger City and completely end the war in Leaping Tiger City. Of course, Xietian would also go with them since Junwuya was currently in Leaping Tiger City. Without Xietian making a move, it would be hard for the others to stop Junwuya. Hearing Xietian's words, the evil spirits were not surprised. The war in Leaping Tiger City had indeed been in a deadlock for too long. When they were in closed-door cultivation, Xietian did not make a move. Now that they were out and their strength had increased by a large amount, Xietian wanted to end the war in Leaping Tiger City as soon as possible. Based on the current situation, the Evil Path and the Great Thousand World were evenly matched in Leaping Tiger City. Chapter 2389. Hearing Xietian's special instructions, although the evil spirits were a bit speechless, they still nodded in agreement. The evil spirits were very clear on their father's personality. In normal situations, Xietian rarely spoke to them like this. Even since they were young, Xietian had always turned a blind eye to their arrogance and willfulness. Now that Xietian had specially instructed them like this, there was only one possibility. It was that Xietian did not want to drag this out any longer. The battle in Leaping Tiger City had already lasted for half a year. During this time, in order to take down Leaping Tiger City, the Great Thousand World had indeed suffered heavy casualties and paid quite a large price. But at the same time, the Evil Path was also the same. Leaping Tiger City was like a giant millstone that had already made both sides pay a heavy price, but both sides still had no plans of stopping. If the battle in Leaping Tiger City continued like this, there would be even more people from both sides that would die here. The price was too heavy, so Xietian had already made his decision to end the battle in Leaping Tiger City as soon as possible. At the same time, he wanted the Great Thousand World to pay a heavy price. Nodding, the evil spirits agreed. Seeing this, Xietian revealed a faint smile and said, "That's good. Prepare yourself and head to Leaping Tiger City." The evil spirits did not stay for long, and the evil spirits did not say anything about this. They just nodded and left with Yang Chun. Since Xietian had already spoken, the evil spirits could not act like last time and do as they pleased. No matter what, they had to defeat the Great Thousand World and make them give up on attacking Leaping Tiger City. Without wasting any time, the evil spirits and Yang Chun left the Evil God Palace on the same day, heading towards Leaping Tiger City. As for Xietian, he did not go with the evil spirit. With the speed of the evil spirits, it did not take long for them to reach Leaping Tiger City from the Evil God Palace. It just so happened that in Leaping Tiger City, the Evil Path and the Great Thousand World had just finished a large-scale battle, and both sides were currently in a truce. The arrival of the evil spirits was naturally immediately known to Yen Tong and the other evil sovereigns. Honestly speaking, Yen Tong and the other evil sovereigns were indeed having a headache recently. Due to the fact that the battle in Leaping Tiger City had yet to come to a conclusion, they felt somewhat helpless. They wanted to defeat the great wide world, but there was nothing they could do. Moreover, it was impossible for them to give up on Leaping Tiger City. As such, both sides could only remain in a stalemate. In the main hall of the City Lord Mansion, the evil spirits strode in with Yang Chun. Yen Tong and the other evil sovereigns were already waiting for them. In the following battle, I hope that Xiezi can kill all the heaven's prides and monsters of the Great Thousand World. Yen Tong didn't mince his words. The evil spirits were strong, but Yen Tong didn't have the confidence to let them deal with the emperors. Therefore, it was better to let the evil spirits do something that they had more confidence in. In the Great Thousand World, besides the evil exalts, the heaven's prides and monsters had the highest status. If the evil spirits could kill all the heaven's prides and monsters of the Great Thousand World, it would definitely be a huge blow to the Great Thousand World. Not only would it be a blow to the morale, but it would also be a huge blow to the strength of the Great Thousand World. After hearing Yen Tong's words, the evil spirits didn't hesitate and immediately nodded in response. "I will do whatever Uncle Yen says." The evil spirits were very obedient this time. In response, Yen Tong smiled and nodded, feeling more confident in his heart. In Yen Tong's opinion, with the strength of the evil spirits, it wouldn't be too difficult for them to kill the heaven's prides and monsters of the Great Thousand World. After the discussion, the evil spirits and Yang Chun stayed in Leaping Tiger City, while Yen Tong and the other evil exalts began to plan the next battle. Originally, both sides had just gone through a big battle, and it was obviously not suitable for a large-scale battle at this time. However, it was different now. The arrival of the evil spirits gave Yen Tong and the others hope. As long as the evil spirits could kill the heaven's prides and monsters of the Great Thousand World, it would be a great victory for the evil path. Therefore, in a short 3 days, under the planning of Yen Tong and the others, the evil path and the Great Thousand World once again broke out in a large-scale battle. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations,